It was perfect until I had to do bed rest. And so we lasted, 4.5 weeks on bed rest? She was 5.5 weeks early.
Wow.
A little tiny, but good.
And how was she as a baby?
She was good.
She was a good baby.
Chubby.
She's very chubby.
How was Dad during the birth?
Dad was fine. I was, Hadley was 8 weeks early.
Yeah, this was an improvement.
So, I just remember when it was all done and she was, out and we had her and we're holding her, that the nurses didn't rush her off like they did Hadley.
Yeah.
So,
well,
because I remember I kind of broke down a little bit.
She wasn't, no, his memory is a little different. She was kind of blue, and I was like, you can take her to the NICU. So
yeah, when they said that she was fine.
She swallowed the meconium. It's not a pleasant thing,
When they said she was fine, though,
She was fine.
Yeah.
She was just little. She did not go to the NICU. She came home, and she was a little jaundiced, and we have pictures of her and Hadley laying in the window, getting some sunshine, and then she was good. She was very quiet in comparison to Hadley.
She was.
Hadley was a handful.
It's the first time I was ever at a birth that wasn't my own, that I wasn't involved in. Because her sister and I got to go into the room. But I remember Hadley's more because he was a nervous wreck. He was a little better when it came to Hannah. Work.
I think I was working.
Oh, you were at work.
I think I was working, yeah. I don't remember what day of the week that was, but...
I don't either. Well, I remember the 4th of July, 2 days after she was born, Don took Hadley to the parade, and I stayed and held, because I thought Janet needed help holding her. So I stayed back and helped Janet a little bit.
Definitely a good eater. She was a good sleeper, too.
Yeah.
She was really the easiest of the three.
Yeah. She's a loud sleeper.
Yeah.
Snorer?
Oh, yeah.
She had her tonsils and adenoids out when she was 5 because she had sleep apnea. So we would hear her all the time and think she was snoring, but she was just breathing. She's a little noisy.
Right.
Yeah, Hannah, we would go to pick her up at kindergarten, and at the last nap time, she never woke up. The class would be playing around her, and she'd be sound asleep, and we knew she was not getting good REM sleep, I guess, right?
Yeah. Boy, I don't remember.
She loved that little pink Minnie Mouse pacifier, but that was about.
Yeah.
We had to tell her it got lost and take it away eventually, but I don't think she had a favorite toy, did she?
No, I don't remember her having a favorite toy.
Did you guys have a pet?
She didn't talk a lot, Hannah, too.
Well, Hadley talked for her.
Yes, Hadley talked for her. So Hannah would grunt.
Kind of like how you talk for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
She would say Yeah. And then Hadley would say, Hannah wants a sippy cup of milk. Like Hadley would speak for her, interpret.
Did you guys have a pet?
No, we didn't.
No?
We totally deprived them.
Oh, man. She wore all kinds of goofy stuff.
She liked to wear belly shirts.
Yeah.
And she had a big belly, so.
Yeah.
Like a belly shirt with a long skirt, like a bohemian kind of thing going on, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, she was quite
She
the
really
dresser.
thought she was rocking it, but there was like a big belly.
Something to be said about a big tummy.
And I talked for her. I was obsessed with her, but she was really sassy. All of our pictures, old pictures, you can tell she's really sassy. But I think she was quiet at first since I talked for her.
She's a good sister. It was fun looking back on videos recently. Me and her, I followed her everywhere, and I feel like that was pretty relevant too. When growing up, I always looked up to them, especially Hannah, because we had school together for a few years. We have a lot of sister fights.
We used to get in a lot of fights, mainly me and Hannah ganging up on Hayes. But
I just remember one from when we were younger. I don't know if Hadley was there, but we were playing with our neighbors, and Hannah and them all were drinking water, and I got a Diet Coke, and it was during my chubby phase. and so they would like make fun of me because my nickname was Chunky Monkey, and I like would cry because they were healthy and I wasn't. But
I don't know about any like
fights.
Yeah, I know we used to fight all the time, like just argue about nothing, and then like 5 minutes later we'd be like, okay, you want to go to Custard Cup? And everything was fine.
Yeah, they were always dumb fights.
Yeah.
Well, like I said earlier, she is somebody that I just look up to. She always has good advice, and she's always been there when being younger, I feel like I've made a lot of mistakes, and Hadley and Hannah are always there to help me with advice or just be there to listen. So she's a really good sister in that way.
Yeah, I know I'm the older one. She's younger than me, but I look up to her in a lot of ways too. Like Hayes said, she has good advice. She's like the first person I go to if I'm not sure what to do. I always know that she's going to be honest with me, but she's also really loyal. So even though sometimes it might not be what you want to hear, she's loyal and always like is there.
Well, we were there almost every day.
We went quite a bit.
We went almost every day to see the girls.
Yeah.
And I remember one time when Don was holding her and she kind of had an accident. Janet has a picture someplace. See where he had to come home and change clothes because she had gone all over him.
I don't remember that so much, but Sharon's memory's better on this than mine.
She was pretty much a mommy and daddy's girl.
Yeah.
She liked us, but only when they were there too.
What I remember, as she got older, she was a little on the shy side.
Oh my.
But what a beautiful young lady now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she was a good little girl. She didn't like people to be unhappy with her.
No, at the Bachelorette, Janet was saying that like there's videos of them like celebrating birthdays and Storm is in the back like going like this to the cake. And I was friends with Nikki and Kelly and Mia and Corey, and the Murray girls would like come over sometimes when like our parents were having parties and stuff because they did gymnastics together. And so I just remember them being there, and we were all kids, so it was always fun. And I just remember them all being like gymnasts and me being like the most unathletic person to ever walk the planet. But those are my first memories with Hannah, is just like hanging out in the McDonald's basement. Gosh, so many things. I feel like she is a really level-headed person, and she's always just been like so humble and true to herself. She's never tried to be something that she's not. Like depending on the people that she's with, she's just always been Ham, as I call her. And I feel like she has been the same since she was a little girl. Like she has sass, but she's also sweet.
Well, like initially meeting Hannah, you automatically know she's really sweet. She's smiley. She's not always like, like super, super outgoing. But once you like just chat with her, you can always just tell that she's just a really sweet girl. She's smiley. But like getting as a closer friend with her, Hannah's she never is one that's quick to judge. I don't know, she always just has like good advice, I'd say. And I don't know, when I think about Hannah, I feel like I could go with her to anything and she would never be quick to judge. And she always gives everyone the benefit of the doubt.
First memory would probably be birthdays. The Murrays were always at our birthdays. Hannah was always running around with us. Always just hanging out pretty much.
Mace?
First thing that pops in my mind is the cart races, Christmas tree shopping. We used to always go the weekend after Thanksgiving. We'd always go Christmas tree shopping with the Murrays, and Storm always injured me a couple times racing the carts that would always carry the Christmas trees. But that's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Each other?
At that time, I was the lightest, so he would push me, and of course he's trying to win, so he's running as fast as he can, throwing me all over the place. But
Hannah's a great friend. She's somebody that if I ever needed anything, I'd definitely give Hannah a call because she'd be there for you. Definitely.
Yep, very responsible. Always there if you ever need you. Basically family. Yeah.
At St. Thomas More, you know, good friends with Grace and Lexi and everybody like that, like all of the people that I knew the best. And so definitely became closer with her there. And I mean, just Hannah's just, I don't know how other else to say it besides just like such a nice person, and just like, so I don't, in my little experience, like very selfless.
I don't know if we have to put this in there, but and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that you two had a fling at one point, correct?
Yeah, for I was gonna get to that. For
I know
for I don't know, like a month maybe.
Yeah.
Ended up not working out. I think she
probably for the best.
I think she didn't want it to work out, which is fine.
Hey.
I know. I just remember jumping on their trampoline all the time in their backyard and going over to the Murrays pretty much every day, just 2 doors down. Since we didn't go to school together, it's pretty much only like mostly in the summer, and because we'd had nothing to do, we'd all be at the Murrays all day pretty much. Just most of like the funniest stories are from like Joe and Hayes running amok as the youngest. Me and Hannah were more of the tame ones, I guess, or just flew under the radar.
How would we describe Dylan as a baby? Bald?
Yeah, slow to get hair. Walked fast. Fat kid.
He was walking at a really young age. Wanted to do everything his brother did, so had to try to keep up. It was like I swallowed a bowling ball, but he was early, thank heaven. He was like 3 weeks early. So
she was like a basketball.
Nice and round?
Right. He was born in town.
Okay.
The day he was born, I was supposed... Tom and Carrie had invited me to go to a pancake breakfast with them. I went over there to go to a pancake breakfast. There was no one there. Guess where they were?
So, the days before cell phones, they just took off and went to the hospital.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. That's about right.
So did you still go to the pancake breakfast?
No.
No? Well, that's too bad.
It was in Philo.
At the Philo Tavern?
No, it's a church there.
Ah,
Catholic church.
So Dylan owes you pancake breakfast at some
Definitely.
point. All right.
yeah, he got really sick. Real sick.
And
He was in for like 2 weeks. Got pneumonia, couldn't get over it, was taking all these intravenous antibiotics. Nothing was working. Finally, after like a week, Dr. Davison showed up on duty. And thank God, because I think he saved his life. So he had to go in and have surgery done to get all the goo out of his lungs. And yeah, it was gross.
He had he ate a Cheeto a day, about 3 Cheetos a day.
He would not eat for like 2 weeks. He was skinny as could be. And so he missed like 6 weeks of preschool. And I remember Trent Kunis came over and had the kids all write up cards for him and make cards. And so Trent came over and visited him, which was really nice. So he kind of hung out with Trent, and then he was real weak and went back to school, and of course had to explain to everybody that he didn't have his speed back yet. That's why he was still so slow, because I just don't have my speed back. But that was it. He came back around.
have we established that Sean had nothing to do with this illness?
It was no, it was Chuck E. Cheese. So we went to Chuck E. Cheese in St. Louis, and every germ going around St. Louis County was in that ball pit. So he'd go and play, and then come back and eat some pizza. Go play, eat some pizza. He had everything. The pneumonia was like the third thing he had. He started out with like the rotavirus, RSV, pneumonia. It was one thing after another. He was a great sleeper, still is. I mean, he could sleep for like 14 hours straight. He loves to sleep.
Okay.
We never had any trouble with him sleeping. The only thing is, he didn't really like sleeping by himself. So sometimes we'd be looking around for him in the morning, and we'd find him like underneath Sean's bed or curled up in the bottom of Sean's bed. He was always looking for somebody.
Yeah, that's another thing too. He would sleep under the bed. Yeah, similar to the closet story or the cabinet story I just told. He was always popping out of places. Whether we would make it pretty clear he wasn't wanted somewhere, he would still find a way to be there. Yeah, like in my room, he'd be under my bed, and his his patience is truly astounding. He'd be down there for hours in complete silence, and just, I don't know, waiting for his time to come out.
He didn't like vegetables, just.
He did like avocados, though.
He would chew on a piece of broccoli for a half hour. And his mom wouldn't let him out off the table till he ate the broccoli, and he was just sitting there gnawing on it, couldn't get it down, couldn't get it out. Thing I remember about him on food was, I don't know where we were going, but I bet him $100 that he couldn't go, he was probably 9 or 10, I bet him $100 he couldn't go one full year without French fries. And he did it. Went a full year for $100.
And then he went on and did a second year too,
Yeah,
without even being a vet.
Yeah.
Well, all he ate here was peanut butter sandwiches.
All right.
And he always wanted them round and sealed without the crust. And he always asked for peanut butter and jelly, but I never put the jelly on. And he never complained.
I remember when he asked for we were at a restaurant, I don't remember which one, and he asked for a ham and cheese sandwich. He says, hold the cheese.
We used to play a lot of ball.
Yeah.
I always was the outfielder. I had to chase the ball.
We had a big yard out in Rolling Acres, or it was as big as this, but it was shaped different.
Okay.
And we had those, what do they call those plastic balls?
The wiffle balls?
Yeah.
Wiffle balls, yeah. And he was a big-time ball player.
Yes, the wiffle.
Well, we did play a lot of ball here, too, after we moved here.
Yeah, I can show you a few dents in the siding.
Okay.
He used to get up in the morning and get dressed after breakfast, get his bat, ball, glove, hat, and bike, and take off looking for a ball game.
Yeah.
And he could play a ball game with 2 or 3 guys.
Yep.
One incident I do remember when we were on it, we used to take him and his cousin, a younger girl cousin, on elder hostels. Mm-hmm. And we were in Texas, and they were doing rope tricks, and there was they had to climb up high and walk across a rope bridge. And Dylan was, I'm going to do it. So he got first in line, and then all of a sudden he was back two people. Pretty soon he was almost to the front. Then he was back 2 people, and he was actually the last one to do it then.
So he got a little nervous.
I guess.
So, yeah.
Hey, your microphone.
They fought every day. They got their own rooms. They're fancy kids, so they got their own rooms. And one would be coming out of the bathroom on school day, and the other one would be going in, and they'd meet right there at the landing up there. They fought every day. They fought every day.
But
Wrestled. It wasn't like
not like
blows.
serious.
Yeah, no punches, but they.
Every morning before school, they had to have at least one fight. But the one thing I do remember, so Dylan is like very mellow. Like, you'd hardly ever see Dylan get mad. I don't know if you have either, but the only time I can really remember Dylan being really mad was when he got mad at his brother one time. And we were back here in the backyard, the neighbors were all over, kids were all playing. And Sean did something to Dylan, I don't know what. And Dylan grabbed a baseball bat and started chasing him. And Dylan was probably like in kindergarten. I mean, he was little, and Sean was older, and he started chasing after Sean. And I was standing there going, oh shit, I don't know if Sean can outrun him. Like, the kid was fast. And I was just like, Sean, just run as fast as you can. But Dylan was like seriously mad. That's the only time I've ever seen him that mad. He took after his brother.
Yeah, sure.
Your mom just yelled, run, Sean,
Yeah,
run.
yeah. My mom useless. Yeah, run. That might have been after one time. Yeah, I put him into a tree pretty hard and snapped his collarbone, and he kind of lost it there. I think he overreacted to the whole thing, but
Yeah, went and got a bat out in front of everybody. Was seeing red. He was kind of quick to anger for a while, which seemed surprising. Like he would, I'd mess with him a lot, and he'd get a golf club out of the garage and chase me around the backyard with it, looking to enact his revenge that way. He seemed to mellow out as he got older, thank God. Or I just stopped messing with him as much. But he used to be like that. He was, like I said, he was like that. He would mess with me back. We get under each other's skin a little bit and blow up on each other. But I will say he's the only one to pull out weapons in any of these confrontations. Go to the garage and get the bat or the golf club. I was above that. Yeah, I let my hands do the talking when it came to that. But he needed the equalizer, the golf club, I think. He's also the first to throw somebody else under the bus. Like if me and him would put a hole in the basement wall or something, he'd be the first to run upstairs and say, "Hey, Sean just put a hole in the basement wall." Had to control the narrative, get on top of the story, and run up and yeah.
I mean, definitely in preschool, maybe a little bit earlier, but yeah, it definitely became close in preschool, and obviously Zach was there as well, and then we've been lucky to stay close for this long.
So you guys are all three in the same preschool class?
Correct.
Yeah.
First Presbyterian. What was it? First Presbyterian?
I think there's something.
Whatever the best preschool is in town.
I mean, he wasn't a high performer, but he was there.
He was more athletically gifted than educationally.
Yeah. I remember, I think, who was it? Didn't we...
Talking about the monkey bars?
The monkey bars going on top of the monkey bars.
Yeah, you two could get on the monkey bars, and I could not.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And that was the start of
the rest of my life. Me being very not as athletic as you two.
Then another time I remember with Dylan when we were camping at Turkey Run with all the other kids, all the grandkids, and we had backpacks and we were going on a hike and taking snacks with us. Dylan took all the snacks. He did the whole thing, strutted around with his backpack the whole time. No one else had to carry a backpack. He carried all the treats for us.
What a guy.
Very nice.
What a guy. Remember the time the goose chased him over there?
Oh, yeah.
So, Ed, what about the goose?
Well, she was with him. They were out walking. And
he was banging a basketball as we went from here to Carrie's. That was after we moved here.
Okay.
And we were walking over to Carrie's. He was banging a basketball, as Megan and I were walking behind him. And all of a sudden, this goose took out after him because of the ball banging, I think.
A threat.
And he said, Grandma!
Very likable guy.
Yeah. Everybody liked Dylan. He never did talk very much. That was part of his problem. I remember when he used to mow the lawn for me, we made a rule that if after you're done, you come in the house and you have to stay for at least 10 minutes and visit with us, and then you can go. And he did, and pretty soon he got better and better at it. But when he was selected as the player of the year, way back when, Fred Croner, I talked to him on the phone. He says, boy, he doesn't talk much, does he?
Dill is a go with the flow guy, which is what I love about the kid.
Perfect.
Anything, he'll just do whatever, doesn't need a plan, just loves to hang out, chill, do anything.
Yeah, like he said, we'll do anything, go play golf, come over here, hit the pool. He's also just like Hannah, he'll be there anytime you need him. But
just sneak into what's the owner of El Toro's? What's their name?
Fuentes?
The Fuenteses. Then they live right across the street. We snuck into their house to see their indoor pool one time, and we thought it was haunted. And we had nothing happened, but we ran out of the indoor pool screaming.
I remember having sleepovers in his basement and just sleeping until like 3 o'clock in the afternoon because it's so dark down there and so cold.
The denim pillows.
Oh, the denim pillows. Such uncomfortable pillows.
Yeah, you just No, it was the greatest pillow ever because they never got hot. They were denim, and it was so cold in the basement that the pillow never got hot.
What's that like egg-shaped thing?
Oh, the like love chair.
Yeah.
Easily, Luke loved it.
Oh, I remember that. I remember the cardboard cutouts that were stolen from Dairy Queen or the movie theater or whatever else as well.
Was it Michael Jordan? No,
wasn't it Peyton Manning? And
it was Derrick Rose.
I thought
it was
I thought
definitely
there was a Peyton
Derrick
Manning
Rose.
one too.
Oh yeah, there was a Peyton Manning with the Gatorade.
But
It's too many stories to keep all straight. Idiot is the first thing that comes to mind. Goofy. I don't know how deep I'm supposed to get with this.
I mean, it's a gift. I would.
Yeah, am I supposed to be like?
I mean, don't just shit on him. I'd probably say some good things too. And I think he's just like overall first, just like a good friend, that somebody that, I mean, a best friend, right? That somebody could, you could not talk to him for a year or two, and then you see him, and it's like, it's like you saw him yesterday. So I think just a very, somebody that has like a lot of the same interests in terms of, sports and being just a goofball and funny and like not taking things too seriously and like always being able to see the funny side in things. And I think that's a great quality as well. And I think
for me, the only thing I can think of is pretty much ever since I've met Dylan, me and him have been pretty similar, whether it been sports we like, athletes we like. I think we had the same exact GPA in high school and the same exact ACT score. And we went to the same college. So we've pretty much been very
the same thing,
stride for stride, minus the athletic ability.
Tell me about Dylan as a youngster.
Dylan was, he was just always around. So I don't know if he had maybe not too many friends, but he always was like following me around, me and my friends as well. He was a guy was a kid that all my friends knew because, like I said, he was kind of always in the house or following around. Coming up to Little League with me, like before he was old enough really to play, he would grab his mitt and come up anyway, and kind of stand around and wait for the call up to the bigs, I guess, like standing around showcasing his arm off. But he was always a kid that wanted to hang out, wanted to have the good times with the group. Yeah, I love Angry Tom. I mean, Tom didn't start getting angry at Dylan until Sean left the house. I was always there. There's a million Sean and Tom angry stories. And then once I went to college, I think he had to focus that rage somewhere else, and Dylan was just there. Yeah, but Dylan lived in a shelter his whole life. Yeah. So I never got to witness that. Like, I don't think my dad said more than 10 words to Dylan until I moved out of the house. So. That's right. And, Joel, I did all I could for the kid. You can lead him to water, but you can't make him drink. And I gave him the best advice I could. He didn't quite naturally have the gift or curse of getting, he didn't get nearly as much trouble as I did. So he took a little bit with a grain of salt, I think. He had a better job of deciding what to do and what's too far and what's not too far.
I mean, his hair. He had a lot of hair. We used to ride our bikes all over the place. We were actually talking about that the other day, where we would ride all over town. He's probably the most stubborn person I know. I don't know if that's a trait you admire, but he's definitely. He only wants to do what he wants to do. So he's never gonna be swayed one way or the other. If that's something he wants to do, he's gonna do it. No one's gonna really make him do anything.
Always like to go to Robeson, watch the Little League games, whoever was playing or whatever was playing, whether he was old enough or not.
Yeah, when Sean was playing, he'd always bring his glove just in case.
There's man down.
In case Phil Cocaine would let him join in with practice or something.
Every time Ed took him out for lunch, it was Taco Bell.
One time, this is my friends still tell the story. We were in our basement. I was probably in 6th grade or something, and I had 4 or 5 friends over Friday after school, and we're trying to think, what should we do? Talking it out. We've been down there for probably an hour, talking it out. Like, hey, should we go see a movie? should we go try and go over to these girls' house, whatever. About an hour in this conversation, Dylan busts out of this little cabinet we have and said, let's go bowling. And just throws that out. And no one knew he was down there. He scared the shit out of everybody. But my friends still tell that story all the time. Anytime we're trying to decide what to do, someone always bring up, let's go bowling. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she always liked, I mean, they all liked going to Florida, see Grandma and Grandpa, and just anywhere around water. She loved going to, you know, any ball games.
Yeah.
You know, if we went over to an Illinois game or a Cardinal game or something.
Yeah, I think she had, like, one birthday, she wanted the whole family to go to the Cardinal game, so.
And we did.
We ended up with Dylan, the Cub fan, but.
You sacrificed for that birthday, didn't you, bud?
I did.
It was an expensive birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dina's pool.
Yep. Grandma and Grandpa's house.
Yeah.
In Champaign and in Florida.
But I remember when she was about 10, for her birthday, she wanted to go to a Cardinals game. So I said, all right, we'll go. And she took one of her cousins. So I said, I'll get the tickets. And we let Todd take care of the concessions. And I'm not sure that he didn't come out on the short end of the stick. But we had a great day down in Busch Stadium. And we, I believe that was the year the Cardinals just had renovated Busch Stadium, won the World Series that year. So they broke in their new stadium on the right way. Yeah. But as it turned out, Dylan got to see his team win the World Series a little later, but it just took him a little while.
Well, remember the year that we had the snowstorm on New Year's Eve? I mean, a really bad snowstorm. And they were at someone's house, and they left and came over here to stay. They were here for 3 days.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I do remember.
We had a ball.
Yeah.
The house was a disaster, but the last day we cleaned it up, and they went home.
They went upstairs and took over
gosh,
up there.
Yeah.
And it was
they took over
great.
Upstairs, slept all over the place. It was a struggle to get her to school, to preschool and then kindergarten. After that, she started coming out of it.
Because of her shy?
She was so shy. Because when she first started school, it was so hard for her to go and be separated. But I don't know. I just never thought of her, what she would do. It's hard to think of them that way.
I always felt like she would be successful no matter what she did.
Yeah.
And whatever she put her mind to, she could do it.
Yes.
Very confident.
And she went through a phase where she was just crazy. Like, she went from being really quiet and kind of shy to, like, in your face, hilarious.
Well, you know, when she got to Holy Cross, she didn't say a word in class. You know, the teachers would say, this child doesn't speak. But when she got home, she wouldn't shut up, you know. And she followed me around. I mean, she was always tripping me up, it seemed like, you know. And to be careful.
She had, definitely two different
Like, Hannah, are those my toes I'm feeling or yours? I mean, you're under my feet all the time.
Yep.
Organized.
Felt like athletically she was finally, like, you know, more challenged.
Competitive.
Yeah.
You know, she did.
Hannah,
she just wanted to be. I don't know if perfect is the right word, but she'd practice until she got it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's very meticulous, and then I think she's always had, like, she has a lot of friends, but there's always just a very small, like, core group that she's tight with and that are her best friends, I think.
Joel, she was just such a good kid, man. She really was.
She's good. Yeah.
All three of them. I mean, you know, and I think, whether we're on camera or not, but I think, you know, I am a believer that, you know, Holy Cross and STM had a lot to do with that as well.
Yeah.
You know,
it was a good fit for them, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So now we'll have a
Very quick-witted, very smart. smart young
Yeah,
girl.
she was always smart.
Yeah.
I remember when she started high school, this is jumping ahead a little bit. Janet always helped the girls, you know. If they wrote a paper, she kind of didn't edit, but she made sure the spelling was right and helped them with their. And first time Hannah wrote one, and Janet says, "You want me to look at your paper?" She says, "No, I got it." And Janet says, "Well, I could just look at it." She says, "No, Mom, I got it." And she didn't need any help. She didn't want any. She knew she had it. So she was always confident.
Ham, gosh, she dated Braxton quickly, but I feel like it was just because, like, again, we went to STM and then she dated Andrew Mammon for a little bit, but she was never like a relationship girl. Hadley's the same way. They were just kind of like always doing their own thing, never really like seemed desperate to be in a relationship or anything like that. And that's kind of why I think that this perfect situation fell into their lap. And I always say, like, her and Dylan to me just make perfect sense. Like, their personalities, them both being from here. Like, I even laugh about the fact that, like, I think each of their parents live equidistant from their house.
And then I kind of like thought back to high school, and I'm like, no, I remember she was the one. I would be the one doing the homework that morning or like right before class, like trying to finish it, and she'd be like, "Oh, I did this yesterday right after school."
Was she nice in high school?
Hannah went through a bitchy period, but I guess we all have. I might be in mine right now. But
I think that's hard.
Stubborn.
I think it's a great choice for the kids. Should be a good teacher. They won't get away with too much, but I think they'll learn a lot. And I was a little surprised when Dylan went back to school to be a teacher, and they need men teachers in grade school. He loves kids.
It was the night before his first day of kindergarten. Remember that? Was it first grade when we went to Wrigley Field? And
no, that wasn't the first day of kindergarten, but it was during the kindergarten year.
I think it was first day of school. Anyhow, we went up there, rain delay. We're getting ready to leave. We go to leave, and it's
we're getting into the car.
And well, we're not getting in the car because didn't have easy out. We were blocked in. We were going to go back, take him back to school, and so we go have something to eat locally, and then walk back. It stopped raining, and we could hear the organ starting to play. So we went back and bought tickets, and we got back about 2 on his first night of school, and it was fun. Woody Williams versus Mark Pryor.
Well, it actually wasn't the first day of school because he already knew the PE teacher, because I took him to school late, and I was like, I'm just going to tell everybody that you didn't feel good this morning. You know, we're just going to say you didn't feel well, and that's why you're running late. So we go walking into the school, and the PE teacher sees him right away and goes, "Were you at Wrigley Field last night or what?" He's like, "Yeah." We were sitting out there in the pouring rain. We all had like raincoats on, pouring rain. Dylan looks over, he goes, "This is the bestest day of my life."
C student? No, he wasn't a C student, but he did not work at school. It was very irritating. It'd be finals week, and he's laying on the couch watching ESPN, and that's one thing him and Sean had in common, is they put minimum effort into all school effort. And you'd say, you know, it's finals weeks, man. Get your book bag out and sit at the kitchen table and get the books out. You say, if I don't know it by now, well, I'm not going to learn it tonight. And so it was a constant fight for him to act like he was a student.
So does that then surprise you that he turned into a teacher?
Yeah, kind of.
Kinda.
It does, and thinking back on it. So that one word I'd use to describe him as a student would be C-.
I don't know, but he seemed like he had a lot of friends. I mean, he never hated going to school. He always liked being there. He seemed like he had like tons of kids he hung out with.
I used to pick him up after school a lot.
Yeah, so did I.
Carrie was working and Tom was working, so we'd pick him up and take him to our house after school.
Okay.
He loved that teacher, Mr. Bost. I think when they used to go out and play kickball,
Right.
he would be one of the captains and Dylan would be the other captain. And they'd choose up sides, you know, and then play the game. But Dylan,
So, Dill is an elementary school teacher.
right,
He should be a good one.
he likes kids.
Yes, he does.
And kids like him.
Yeah, when her sister has 5 kids altogether. And whenever they'd come and visit, one of the first things they'd say is Dylan going to be here? Because he plays with them, he does everything, you know, anything they want to do, he plays with them, so they really like him.
Well, good.
Spot on, yeah.
No, but Dylan being a teacher, I think the kids would love him as a teacher for sure.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's what blew my mind when he went back to college to be a teacher. All of a sudden he like became smart. Like he could do fractions and stuff.
Well, but dude, that's the thing. It's the same thing as him in school or him in sports or whatever else. Like, you know, I know like him and like Sean, for example, too. Like they're kind of one and the same, but like naturally really smart. They just if there was like if they really studied for something, like they could be like super duper smart, right?
Yeah.
They're just like naturally gifted. So I think like when he wants to apply himself, he can honestly do whatever. But yeah, I mean, I would love to have Dylan as a teacher. And I remember going to golf with him a month or two ago and asking him about how it was going at wherever he was at Westview. And just telling me about some kids that are assholes and like this one kid that just picks a fight with everybody. And, you know, I think I would really pay to like
love to be a fly on
the wall there. It would be awesome.
Because he was like driving to Milliken, and I remember like actually thinking about it one time. I was like, could I be a teacher? And I was like, there's no way, I'm not smart enough. And then I was like, well, then how is Dylan becoming a teacher? And I was like, Dylan, can you do like what are you going to be like? Can you? I remember asking him like to add a fraction, and he did it like really quick. I was like, how'd you do that? Because I know for a fact when we were in like at ISU at college, if I asked him, I'd be like, I don't know. But he must have learned it at college, because we didn't really learn much in business school. But apparently they actually teach us stuff in teacher school.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I weep for our youth, Joel. If Dylan's leading young minds in this country, like I said, like I'm not sure the guy has read a book in his life outside of Matt Christopher, the kid who only hit homers. Yeah, he read that probably 5 times, or Vineline magazine were the only things I've ever seen him read in his life, outside of like the Texas Roadhouse menu. So he would like read that. He was not a remarkable student in any way that I could tell. His favorite classes, every time he'd ever be asked by like our grandparents, would switch between recess or lunch his whole life. So I never heard anything that he actually enjoyed school-wise. And then he went back to college to be the teacher that he is now. And I think I think he likes the summer breaks. You know, he worked for 3 months as a teacher, and now is just talking about how ready he was for summer break and how due he is now to be on break. So I don't know. I'm skeptical about the whole thing, but I would not want a kid in his class. I'll put it that way. Unless you're organizing like a softball team or something, yeah, I wouldn't want him leading us.
You know, I was always so young when like growing up with him, and he always just got along with me, even though I was 4 years younger with him. He always took me under his wing and taught me so much, so I could see it from my perspective. But him being by himself in a classroom, I don't see much structure in that classroom, or I have fear for the youth that he will teach.
It's just, you just have to deal with stuff. Teaching's not more like, you have to have the energy, obviously, but it's just having to have the knowledge to deal with all these situations that come up. So we've been dealing with these young kids for probably like 7 years when we started Dreamhouse. So he's probably got a lot of stuff that he's learned throughout the years that have helped him. Well, I never went to school with him. Only one class, wood shop. I wasn't even in that class, but somehow we were in the same class. We kind of combined wood shop and auto shop to make a bigger class, and we would just walk back and forth. But I know he would just go home and then come back and take the bathroom pass and then go home and then come back to school. I know he would do that, and I know he's in a couple Central yearbook photos in clubs that he was not a part of.
Me, when I got graduated from 8th grade Edison Middle School, my parents decided that it wasn't important for them to be in attendance. So instead, Luke, Bones, and Dylan came. And the rule was that you were not allowed to cheer, just so no one gets offended. They didn't get allowed to cheer. And I was walking across the stage, and they announced my name, and Dill, Bones, and Luke just started losing their minds cheering and saying, "That's my boy, that's my son, I'm so proud of you."
Went to St. Louis.
Titans.
The Titans,
Yeah.
yeah. So I remember that because I will never forget this. I don't know where we were going or why these guys were in the car, but I know Luke was in the car with us and Dylan and a couple of the other guys on the team, and Dylan was going, we got to go to nationals, and they're like, I don't know, and I think Luke was kind of like, I don't think my dad wants to do it, you know, and I don't remember who else was in the car. Zach might have been there saying, you know, my dad doesn't want to do it, and Dylan was just like, we got to go, guys, it's so fun, it's so fun. And he started talking the guys into it, and then we went down there, and it was so fun.
I was just proud of them all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember one of my favorite things when we was playing ball was when they were playing on this team with Luke and the kid from Muhammad.
The Kenny brothers.
The Kenny brothers. And Dylan was pitching. You remember that story? Dylan was pitching, and it was the last inning.
In St. Louis, there was a big game.
Yeah, that was it.
And Tom and Kerry weren't there.
Right.
Yeah. Late at night, I remember that.
And that was the neatest trick those guys did.
Yeah.
And
they picked the guy off a second.
Right.
Ended the game.
Yeah.
And Kerry said to him later, what if he had missed that? That'd have been on him, not me. I threw the ball perfect.
That's
with the Heat. Yeah,
so
he knew Dylan before I did.
I knew Dylan through the Heat, and then Mason was our bat boy, so he was always around.
Yep.
But I guess pretty much once we got our baseball team together, I knew Dill throughout the years, just playing baseball together, what we did every summer. It's just what we did. Right. We didn't know anything else. Just whenever we could find a bat, a ball, and some gloves, we'd just go play.
Yep. Wiffle ball. That's what it was.
And you got to know him more through Centennial than later on too, right?
Yep, obviously knew him growing up through the Heat and Bat Boy and all that, and then played together 2 years in high school at Centennial, and yeah, that's how. I mean, ever since then we've been pretty good friends.
There's probably just a few times of Tom that I just remember laying into Dylan. Dylan like messes something up or something, and Tom just lets him have it. I mean, just doesn't hold back at all. Just gives him an earful, and it's frightening. But that's probably one of the memories that I have of Dill.
Yeah, I'd say probably Centennial baseball. Dill did whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, regardless of what Remo said. Dill was doing his own thing. So
think of him as, you know, this has like this blonde froey hair and coming out of his hat and curves his hat almost to like a circle and breaks the brim, and
his hair is like breaking his hat trying to escape his hat.
Yeah, and I mean that's what I think of when I think of like 10 years older, younger Dylan and stuff like that.
High school days.
Having
the hijinks started.
Having the Moises Alou baseball stance and all of that. I remember his playing Grady baseball at his house with my favorite bat was the little orange one, the little orange metal one.
Yeah.
You know, obviously great athlete. I think everybody says that when they think of him. And I think the thing that pisses me off the most is that great athlete, like effortless. And, you know, just having that ability, he could not pick up a hockey stick or not pick up a baseball bat for a year and still be one of the best players there is.
Yeah, I mean, he's an all right athlete, as you know. Here's a story, though. When we first were signing up for hockey, and you had to get in line, the new people, to request your number, right? Because there's a legacy thing with numbers. And so I'm in front. Dylan's probably like 5 behind me because he was younger, and he's asking what number I'm going to take. And I said 28. I'm going 28, adds up to 10. And I'm next in line, and right when I'm up, Dylan jumps to the front, right in front of me, yells 28, and they put Dylan Grady down 28. And then that's like a legacy thing. So he had that for 6 years. And then I'm on the block, and I don't know what number I want because mine just got snaked, and I went with 37. But at the last second, he jumped in front of me and took what I told him. Yeah, never again will I confide any information like that to him.
First met him really at Jefferson playing baseball. He had very long curly hair under the Jefferson hat, always goofy, and then kind of became better friends in high school. But in middle school, it was more so just baseball. Very, very good teammate, very laid back. Me and Dylan and Quinn were more of the laid back people on the team, always getting dressed in the dugout. Dylan was always the last one to get dressed. He'd have to get his shorts off, throw his pants on, and then always lather up with about 4 coats of sunscreen before the game to protect that Irish skin. As a baseball player, he was probably the best player I ever played with. Well, everyone had mixed opinions about Remo, but he entrusted Dylan, and if Dylan told Remo to do anything, Remo would just do it automatically. That includes the lineup card, practice, trying to convince Remo to not hurt our starting pitchers.
And you had them all gathered up together, ready for the game, and you said, now if the ball's hit to you, and you don't know what to do with it, throw it to Dylan. And I thought to myself, well, he just made Dylan his assistant coach.
He was good, but when we played high school, we just walk him because we knew he didn't want to steal second base. He didn't want to slide, so we just put him on base. But he was good. He could play multiple positions, could hit when he was healthy, and didn't take things too seriously. Would show up to practice right on time, never late, but never early. And we played a lot. We played a lot of games together.
Dylan was always the quiet coach, but definitely the most skilled out of all the coaches. He was always more talented than everyone else that he played with. And he just always got along with the players a lot, brought the energy. I remember every time I came off the field from center field, he'd yell at me to come dunk it on him. And every time I'd go out to run out to center field, we act like we were playing football, and he'd throw me the Hail Mary. So it was just small things like that. It kind of just brought good energy to the team.
I don't know. He's pretty good. He's got a good jumper. I mean, not better than me. Or, I don't know. I've got some good videos of him dunking on Sam's friends. But that's kind of the competition he was playing against.
He would always double dribble.
He also loved the rule where you didn't have to dribble in the grass. So he'd just start running in the grass.
Oh.
No, he was very below average in driveway basketball.
He just did.
He was very.
Double dribble a lot, though.
He was good. First time I will ever say this, a great wiffle ball pitcher.
I mean, we only played on the same team really twice in my life, travel, and then that Yankees Little League team. And I remember we lost to the Cubs with Cody Carmody, the guy who went to Uni High. He was on the team. They got him mid-year. I don't know how that happened.
Sweatpants.
Maybe your swim
shorts.
trunks.
My swim trunks?
Yeah. He likes to steal a lot of our clothes.
Oh, yeah. Or he used to wear, this is the story of driveway basketball. Every single time he would come over for driveway basketball, he would just take pair of my shoes and wear them and just get them so scuffed up. It didn't matter what kind of shoes he came over with. He could have basketball shoes on, and he came over to our house. He would just go find a pair of my shoes in the house or in the garage and just wear it for driveway basketball, and just get them so muddy. And I would have to scream at him to take it off. And this was like when he was in high school, or like even in college. I would imagine he would wear my shoes.
Well, when she got, anything with a ball, anything that had to do with, time me running around the house or pogo stick. Dad, how many times did I jump? 500, Hannah. Were you really counting?
She's very competitive.
Yeah. Always dribbling a ball. Always. I don't remember messing around with a volleyball much, but it was always a basketball, or we played a lot of catch. She was into baseball.
She rode her bike like really early. Hadley told her she couldn't because she wasn't old enough, but she could. Yeah. We would catch her like running laps around the house and up and down the stairs and doing crunches because she was working out.
Yeah.
She was very competitive. I think the guys would sit around and drink beer and count pogo sticks. And
yeah.
I think Kenny Bilger would challenge her.
We were at a pool. She'd want to, how long can I hold my breath? Or I'm going to do handstands. Count how long I'm under the water, And, it's nuts.
Was it competitive between the girls?
No.
I don't know.
I think she just competed with herself.
Yeah, but, they'd do it at the same time. Especially Hadley and Hannah.
She was kind of a perfectionist.
When she was doing tumbling, she'd climb that rope to ring the bell over at Dina's gym.
Yeah.
She had to do that. She was I coached her at Holy Cross, and she was easy to coach. She was eager to learn. Mm-hmm. I didn't even screw her up. But she was just competitive.
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know if it was a competitive to where she worried about the scoreboard. I don't remember her being up or down, win or lose, but I think she just wanted to do the best that she could do.
She's very calm under pressure, always, even in middle school.
She's easy to coach.
And I think so. Obviously, at Holy Cross being so small, you kind of have to play everything. So. She played club volleyball and travel basketball and did all that. But then when she got to high school, she could finally play her favorite position in volleyball, which was her favorite sport, was a libero. And you can't play that in middle school at the time for IESA. So she finally gets to high school. The very first practice, they moved her to setting. And she was a great setter. She did well. Yeah. And her and Lexi got to play varsity, at the end of freshman year. They got moved up, and they got to play in regionals and sectionals, and they actually got on the floor, which was pretty cool.
The good thing about when they finally got out to STM is that we had some good teams.
We did have some good teams.
She was surrounded by some really good athletes on the basketball floor and volleyball courts.
And for volleyball,
so we had a lot of success. So that was fun.
For volleyball, she broke the school assist record. Her senior year, so that was pretty fun.
Its since has been blown out of the water.
Then. And it was Hannah's senior year, Hayes' freshman year, and they got to play, volleyball and basketball together, and that was.
Well, Hannah didn't play basketball her senior
year. She didn't play. I forgot. I'm not supposed to bring that up.
Yeah.
She coached 7th grade volleyball with T.C. Hendrickson and Jen Miller.
So you're not laying around. You're not going to lay around and eat chips all day long. You're going to.
So she coached with, and so they didn't know as much about volleyball. So TC and Jen said they just, Hannah wasn't old enough to stand up and be the
up coach, so they would have meetings and she set up drills and plays, and then they would consult with her and she'd help them sub, and she did it was kind of odd for her to be coaching St. Matthew's instead of Holy Cross, but she did great. They had a good team.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
We went to a
Volleyball,
lot of sporting
basketball.
events with the 3 girls especially, so saw a lot of activity there. They were interesting games. It almost seemed like she kind of got burnt out on it late, and like
when she was in high school, she just as soon as someone else did it, she'd get the ball to them, so that, and the coaches say, "Make a basket, Hannah, make a basket," and she'd throw it to Lexi or someone she knew was gonna. She was happy with that way. Of course, volleyball was her love. She loved volleyball, and she played softball one year. She must have been 10 or 11, 12. I don't remember her age.
Probably in that range, yeah.
Yeah. Well, of course, they started gymnastics when they were young because of Aunt Dina. And we watched a lot of that. That's sitting around waiting and watching something for 2 minutes. But it made them strong.
I remember playing Holy Cross and like seeing Elizabeth and Hannah on the team. And I just never, I feel like we beat them every time because we had Lexi. But I don't know. It's funny because I forget a lot, but I never remember like having much thought about us then being in high school together and being on the same team. But I just feel like it happened naturally before high school even started, of us just all kind of coming together as friends, probably because our class was so small that it was kind of slim pickings.
So I think I first met Hannah, or at least knew of Hannah, back in the St. Matt's Holy Cross days, playing all the sports and stuff. And I just remember her being like a good athlete, and we'd play, the big rivalry Holy Cross St. Matt's meetups. And then I think when we really got to know each other better was, we started playing travel basketball together. So I just remember Hannah always being like this sweet, quiet girl. But when I got to know her, we became really good friends. And I just always enjoyed doing the sports traveling with her. And then eventually, as we got into high school, we became really close friends, best friends. But the early years, I just always remember Hannah through sports.
Going to school with Hannah, I went to school with her from kindergarten through high school. Always a great athlete, that's for sure. Pretty much basketball, volleyball, everything she played, she was always definitely one of the best, easily.
First thing that comes to my mind, Holy Cross, would be definitely basketball practice. After school, we'd always go crash the girls' basketball practice with Hog, sit there and shoot around and basically screw up practice for him and act a fool. So those are my memories.
I bet she probably beat me a few times in the driveway basketball at the Murrays, I'm sure. Very competitive. It's fun to play euchre with her when we get going playing euchre. She doesn't like to lose in anything.
Well, I will say one thing he was never good at. So he was always good at all kind of sports and all that stuff, but he was terrible at piano. So I used to make him take piano lessons, and he would literally, the piano teacher lived 2 blocks from Robeson. So I'd pick him up after school and we'd go straight there. He would literally sit down on the sidewalk and refuse to go. He'd be in the sidewalk in the middle of the neighborhood, refusing to go. So finally, after about 3 years, he was still playing the first song in the thing. He never got any better. And so the piano teacher was like, Dylan is a really nice kid, but I think you're just wasting your money, really.
I do remember once we were sitting at the kitchen table and Dylan was in 5th grade, and that's kind of the grade that Sean kind of flipped. He went to the dark side in 5th grade, and Dylan was in 5th grade, and we were sitting at the dinner table, and Dylan was asking Sean for some ideas on some pranks he could pull in the classroom. Remember that?
Right.
And Sean kind of shook his
Dylan,
head.
Dylan.
Yeah.
So young and full of naive.
And then he gave out, handed out a few of the some of the starter kit, moved the clock back and forward as it needed.
Dill never did any of that stuff, though.
You don't think so?
Not that I ever knew.
Never
of.
got in trouble that I know of. Did he ever get in trouble?
He did get in trouble one time. Him and John Foster.
Yeah, let's not go into that one.
Okay.
The thing with Dylan is I think he hates to be embarrassed, so he doesn't ever put himself in embarrassing situations. So that's why it's hard for me to find an embarrassing situation, because we've always said if it's Dylan's world, we're just living in it. So like if Dylan was going to be out there in like an embarrassing situation, he just won't do it. He'll just like go home or like just do something else. He won't put himself in that type of situation.
That is. Dylan was working at FDS one of the summers, and Bones and Zach are over at my house for some reason, just like in the middle of the day, and Dylan's coming from work or going to work, something like that. And
he stopped there for lunch.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Because me and Trent were hanging out at his house, and Dylan was at FDS.
I'm surprised you know what I'm talking about.
Mind you,
and I've never seen the guy in anything but athletic shorts.
I don't think he ever put on a pair of jeans in his life.
Equipment, like hockey equipment or whatever. This guy has a pair of jeans on.
They were Tom's blue jeans that were like 5 sizes too big for him. So when you see a guy who's never worn blue jeans and he magically appears in 5X blue jeans, it was a little stunning.
Dylan, and then we called him Dylan Blue Jean Grady.
Yeah, I have that picture, by the way. That's one. Man. Yeah, that's definitely one.
And like when we were taking a video of him, like you could tell he was embarrassed and kind of mad as well. But I don't know, that's one that comes to mind. For just a quick, in case somebody wants to hear this, but so we used to do this thing called Poop Dollar at the movie theater in Savoy, and you just really simple. You get $1 bill.
It's actually very complex if you think
put a little mini turd in it and squish it together and fold it up. And then you put
a human turd out of your butthole.
And then you put it outside the movie theater, and people are like, oh, they're so psyched they find $1, and then they open it up and realize there's poop in it. We got this one guy. So we sat after we did it, because you have to watch people pick it up.
We would sit in the handicap parking spot. Yeah, at the
and 16. This one guy probably just got off of a date with this girl.
He was still on the date with the girl.
And coming outside, finds $1. He looks up at it and goes, oh, look, I found $1.
And then get her a Frosty or something.
and then he opens it up, he tries to put it in his wallet, and he finds out there's poop, and
he looks so deflated.
His head just goes down, and he starts walking.
We were crying laughing in the car. Should I just say it? Yeah. All right, so one time we were in Dylan's basement.
Write it down.
We were in Dylan's basement playing some type of video games or doing something stupid. And I think I was like, I'm starving. Are we going to eat dinner? And he's like, yeah, let me figure it out. I don't want to go upstairs to figure out because his parents were upstairs. So instead of going upstairs to ask his parents what he's going to have for dinner, he called his mom, who was upstairs. And that did not fly well with Tom Grady. So by the time his mom didn't even answer the phone, Tom Grady's like the nicest guy on the planet. And since this day, I've never seen Tom Grady like this. He came downstairs in maybe 0.3 seconds. And he goes, if you ever call your mom when she's upstairs again, I will beat your ass. And it just goes right back upstairs. I'm sure he's probably a little bit embarrassed when that happened. But yeah, that one just came hilarious. That one just came to me.
Him being a kid, well, I'm sure someone's already touched on the whole sleepwalking that he used to do. So he used to, when he was a kid especially, and I think even still now he might do it, but is a sleepwalker. And I guess this isn't as embarrassing as much as it is weird, but he would just get up in the middle of the night and I would wake up and he'd be standing over me at 2 a.m. Yeah, he would never say anything. He would just be above me in my room sleepwalking. And then be like, Dylan, what are you doing? I have to go to the bathroom. Like, then go to the bathroom. Get out of here. So he used to scare the shit out of us like that. Or one time I brought my buddy Kale on a baseball trip with Dylan's team somewhere out of town, and we were overnight, it was us three sharing a room, and me and Kale were watching like a scary movie, and Dylan just out of mid-sleep sits bolt upright like The Exorcist or something and looks over and he goes, "Where is it?" And we're like, "What?" He goes, "My thing, where is it?" We're like, "What thing are you talking about?" And he goes, "Shut up, Kale," and like went back to bed. Yeah, but Kale never went on another trip with us again. We were watching The Hills Have Eyes, and it scared the crap out of the middle of the movie.
But when we were getting into golf, we went to Dick's to buy clubs, and we got the clubs were cheap, like $200, came in a box. Top flight clubs. We get the clubs, we take them to Stone Creek, which is the furthest away from Dick's to Stone Creek, probably the width of Champaign-Urbana. We get there, we open them up, and they're left-handed. We had to go take them back. It was so bad. We were so looking forward to using them.
Yeah. She had a little trick in our side bathroom
that we didn't know about.
So she would, instead of climbing up on the potty, she would sit down on the...
It's like a ceramic.
Yeah, ceramic garbage can that sits next to that we still have, actually. And every time I cleaned it out, it was always wet in there. I'm like, why is this so wet all the time? Well, then I caught her. Her little butt was in there peeing in the,
There's like this much space between the toilet
she's
and the
sitting there
wall.
peeing, got her arm up on the toilet, That was actually pretty funny. Ha, I caught you. So you're the one. Yeah.
We didn't know it was urine in there.
No, well, I mean, you're going to touch that kind of stuff with young people.
But always opinionated.
Yeah.
I remember one year I gave her an outfit for Christmas, and she opened it, she looked at it, she says, "I don't like this." And Janet says, "Oh yes you do." She never wore it. Hayes wore it, but she never wore it. She knew what she liked and didn't like.
One of my memories of Hannah is she loved to wear belly shirts when she was 5, 6 years old. And Sharon's got a neat story about taking Hannah down Duncan Road in the car. And
they were following me.
You were going. Where were you going?
Going to get their picture
taken. That's right.
We had bought them outfits, Illini outfits, cheerleading outfits, and so they had the shoes, the sock, everything, and they were going to get their picture taken, and I was ahead of them. Go ahead.
You do finish it. I wasn't there.
I was going a little too fast, and the policeman stopped me. And of course, Hannah wanted to know. She asked her mom what happened to Grandma, and she said that she was going too fast, and the policeman stopped her. She says, "Well, I'm going to tell my teacher, both of them."
Didn't she love belly shirts?
Yeah, she loved belly shirts.
Yeah. We always had matching outfits.
Yeah, I think that she also went through a really sporty phase, and she loved wearing Illinois basketball jerseys maybe, or just basketball shorts. Yeah. She had these blue Jordans that she would wear with anything. She'd probably wear those with.
I feel like she was always wearing the same thing as us. The trends growing up were gaucho pants, softy shorts, and camis. That's what I always remember seeing her in. We laugh looking back at some of the outfits we wore in high school and college. We were talking about this at the Bachelorette too, of just us following trends and looking back and thinking, that's just so opposite of our personal style. We were just trying to fit in and look cool. Volleyball together, and then she did basketball. And we were just always a group. When it comes to embarrassing moments, I think the most embarrassing things are when we look back at pictures and she's like, "What was I thinking with my eyebrows?" and stuff like that. But I also just remember one summer we went to Catholic Heart Work Camp together for service hours. And the night before She's gonna kill me for saying this. She had her first kiss with Trent. And she's telling me the story, and like she was cringing so hard even the next day. And just the details of the story, I remember like crying, laughing. And like I said, I remember very little. I like remember every detail of the story because it was so hilarious the way that she told it back. Like she's always been easy like at making fun of herself. And I think that's probably one of the more embarrassing things I could mention was her first kiss with Trent at some park.
Even like, yeah, all of us. So going to STM, we had to wear Sperry's to school. And so, or like some like brown leather shoes, you know, Sperry's. So Sperry's was the most common choice. And we would wear those Sperry's to the store, to basketball practice, to basketball traveling games, volleyball traveling games. Like we wore those Sperry's
As if they were
a
slides.
common shoe. Yeah. If it was like slides, tennis shoes, we wore those Sperry's everywhere we went. And so definitely looking back on that, I'm sure she would agree that was very embarrassing of us. It was at a very old age, maybe like middle of high school, where she finally figured out that license plate wasn't license plate, LICEN.
No, but I did. Don was talking about the belly shirts, her loving those. We went on a cruise one time. When we got back in Florida, we called Todd and Janet to say we were safely back. And Hannah got on the phone. It was February. And she says, Grandma, guess what I have on? And I says, well, what do you have on? She says, I have on a belly shirt. I said, but Hannah, it's February. It's cold outside. She says, but I'm not outside. I thought that was her logic.
She like mixed up words a lot. That was like pretty entertaining. Like we have kept a lot of those words, like the like marote instead of remote.
Yeah, give me the marote.
She said
her lips were.
Yeah, her chips were lapped.
Yeah,
her lips were chapped. She had lots of
she
good
said a lot of
verbiage.
goofy stuff.
We have lots of bathtub pictures of Storm Mason Hadley. Hannah Hayes.
Yeah.
Were there any good sister fights?
Oh, I don't know. They just bitched at each other. They didn't really fight. You know, Hayes would kick the crap out of both of them if it came to throwing punches.
But I went through a stretch where I loved taking videos of Hannah when she was acting really weird. She used to like make up dances and cheer. Remember when she made up the...
Yeah, she loved cheerleading and she'd make up cheers.
And then like show them to all of us. But I don't know. I just have weird videos of her being fun. She's really funny and goofy. Like I have videos of one time we were all on my bed and Hannah was like pretending to like punch us and she was going like this. And then she gets like shy and then she has to like stop and then she gets mad that you have a video of it. But
I have kind of an embarrassing story. Hannah had a phase where she was obsessed with Justin Bieber and Joseph Bertrand, the Illinois basketball player. Like she would record the Illinois games basically just to watch Joe. And our family called him Joe. Like we just referred to him as Joe.
I wrote it as Joe too.
Yeah. And she had a shrine in her closet. She would cut pictures of Joe out of the newspaper and tape them in her closet. Same with Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
2 shrines in her closet. And she had those till like high school.
And then wasn't it Grace that got a video of Joe saying like hi to her?
Yeah.
Hi to Ham.
It was like a birthday present to her. He said like, hi Ham, have a good day. And she was like so happy.
She was unhealthily obsessed with Joe Bertrand on the U of I team. Like she would record the Illinois games if she was going to miss it and watch them. And this is how she would say his name. Joe. And so now like every Joe I meet, I say, Joe. Like I had a friend named Joe in college and I would always say Joe because I always think of her saying it like that. Okay. My dad's friend, like my dad somehow got Joe Bertrand to say like, hi Hannah, happy birthday or something like that. and I brought it to school and like recorded her reaction, and she like literally almost fainted. There's also a picture of her and him. Like, she was unhealthily obsessed.
In her closet, she had like kind of like a mini walk-in closet, and she had pretty much, I would say, a boy shrine. It was pictures of Joe, pictures of Justin Bieber. I don't think Dylan ever made it on that wall, so sorry, Dylan. It was Joe and Justin Bieber, and pretty sure I remember her kissing the wall of one of the two of them.
I was so surprised she went to Bradley, weren't you? And we were so excited. It was so much fun.
Maybe a little bit.
There. Yeah. We weren't sure what she was going to do, and we left it up to her because we knew she did not want our input at all.
Yeah. It was nice knowing that her and Hadley were going to be on campus together, though. I mean, even though they're only 75 miles away.
Yeah.
So it's nice. I don't know.
It was a lot easier the second time than when Hadley went, you know. So
I'll tell you this, I was glad Hayes was around. I wasn't ready to be an empty nester.
We're like, it's all on you, Hayes.
You know,
hyper-focused on you.
Yeah, I think we probably drove Hayes nuts because it just, all the focus, like, oh, okay, now it's you.
Yeah.
You know,
it was fun to see her. So they have like an experiential component at Bradley. So they put you in job situations starting freshman year. So she started observing in the classroom, and I was anxious to see if she would like it as much as she thought, and she loved it. Mm-hmm. It was a good fit for her. She ended up pledging the same sorority.
Go to same college, same sorority,
Yeah.
Same field. I mean,
famous last words. She said, "Hadley, just because you like sororities, I don't, and I'll go through Rush, but I'm not doing it if I don't like it." I mean, she just set it all up ahead of time, but she ended up doing it.
Of course, she went where Hadley already was, so that kind of helped.
Yeah.
But and I was kind of surprised she didn't pick a school that she could have played volleyball at. But she was done with that by then. She was ready to move on. So
I don't think she was
didn't
planning
realize,
on playing college sports, really.
No.
So.
And I didn't really realize how smart she was because she never bragged about her grades. You know, she was in honor society, but she never bragged until she graduated from college, and she was oh dear, I can't say, she had on a gold thing, and I said, "What's that?" I said, "Well, that's kind of an honor, isn't it?" She says, "Oh, Grandma," she says, "there's people smarter than me."
Well, first of all, I was not excited to get him out of the house. I was distraught. I mean, it was a very hard time for me because Sean was already gone, and now Dill was leaving. I was not excited about it, but yeah, I thought he would graduate. He didn't really have like a major goal in mind. I mean, I didn't know what he would major in or what kind of job he would get, but I figured he'd get out of college and do something.
I remember before he wanted to go to Illinois State because his brother went there, Bones was going there. You know, he wanted to roll through that, like, but they weren't that interested in him as a baseball player, and so he was deciding whether to try out for baseball or to skate. I remember that whole thing. He was debating about.
He was thinking about playing hockey.
Yeah, and so he went on the baseball team, met a lot of friends. So he got a lot of good friends out of that. Got to see how Division I baseball program was run.
I will say, in college, when me and Dylan lived together our junior year, Dylan is not one to decorate a room, but he did have a couple things in his room in college. One being a bed, two being a TV, and I think the only third thing he had in there was a picture of him and Hannah in front of the TV. So
that's nice.
It's another.
Matt and Dill came to visit me, I think sophomore year of college, and I had my own like apartment off campus, and we go to a few parties, like have a great time. Obviously, have way too much to drink. We come back. I'm in the bathroom throwing up. Matt is on the couch. I come out, don't see Dylan. I just want to go to bed. And this guy is butt ass naked, spread eagle on my bed. I go, hey man, can I go to sleep? And then Dylan being Dylan and Matt being Matt, Dylan goes to the couch, still doesn't have his clothes on, kicks Matt off the couch, and I think Matt has to sleep on the floor.
Mm-hmm. I can thank Dylan for getting me into Sigma Chi as a fraternity.
Legacy of Sean Grady.
Yeah, because one night I was having sleepover at Dylan's house, and I was dead asleep on the couch. And one thing about Dylan is he likes to get his sleep, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
So he was not going to sleep in the basement with me. He ditched me, went up into his room when we both fell asleep. So then it was like 3 a.m, and I hear a pack at what sounded like rhinos coming down the stairs. And then I open my eyes and I see nothing but Sean Grady and like 8 of his fraternity brothers. And the first thing they say is, "Who the hell is this guy?" They come over the couch and just start punching me in the body, all 8 of them. Thank God Carrie comes downstairs and she's like, "Stop, stop!" So then, meanwhile, Dylan's just dead asleep in his room. And then Dylan's mom was like, "You can just sleep upstairs in the living room." So then I was like, she's like, "I could take you home if you want." I was like, "No, I'll just sleep up here."
Why
so
did they
then
start punching you?
I don't know. They were really drunk, but then fast forward a couple, like it was when I got to college. And
you're the guy we
Dylan, or Sean Grady was a 5th-year senior, and then some of the guys that supposedly punched me were like, "Were you the guy that we beat up that one night?" I was like, "Yes, that's me." It was like they got me into the fraternity. So,
oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So me and Dylan didn't want to take business calculus at ISU, so we decided it'd be smarter if we took it at Parkland, figuring it might be a little bit easier at Parkland over the summer. So we enroll into this class, and we think it's going to be. We were a little out of our element because we don't have any of the answers, or we don't have anybody else that we know in the class. So we thought, we were under the impression, I don't know why, that we'd be fine on the tests. But anyways, we get our first quiz, and we don't really know anything of what we're doing. And we take our quizzes and we look at each other like, that was not good. And the next class, we get our quizzes back. It was out of 20. I think I got an 8 out of 20 and Dylan got a 5 out of 20 on the first quiz. And the class was just set up so you just had like 3 quizzes and 3 tests. So then the test rolls around, and Dylan, before the test starts, he hits me on the leg and he goes, if I get under a 50% on this test, I'm leaving. So we take the test, and we're like, that could have been bad too, but we don't really know what we're doing, so like maybe we're right. We get our test back. I think I ended up getting like a 52% on the test, and Dylan got a 37% on the test. So then we get our test back. He passed out the test, and then he gives us like a break, like a 10-minute break. And we go out, and we were talking in the hallway, and he's like, "I'm leaving." And I'm like, "What do you mean you're leaving? We still got a half a class left." He goes, "No, I'm dropping the class." So I go back into class, and the teacher goes, "Where's your friend at?" And I go, "Teach, I don't think he's coming back." So he left me by myself in a business calc class for like 7 more weeks of the summer. But and then crazy enough, he goes to ISU. I don't know how he did it. Maybe he had the answers or something just came to him, but he got an A in business calc at ISU. So
one good one is, so he had, I was out of town, but I had left something with a buddy of mine, and Dylan was going to go pick it up for me and bring it to Champaign. And Dylan just, I guess, knew where this kid lived, and he had been there before, but he goes into the wrong apartment. It's like 4 girls in there, but he doesn't know it. He walks in, it's a 4-bedroom place, sees the place empty, goes in, just posts down on the couch, lays out full sprawl. He hears like the shower running, so he thinks like Kenzel, my buddy, might be in the shower, and he's going to wait for him to get out. And apparently some girl like turns the corner and just sees this random guy sprawled on her couch. She's like in a towel, just got out of the shower. Who the hell are you? And he's like, I'm looking for Sean. Like, there's no one here by that name. Yeah. So I think he hightailed it out of there, and he called me all pissed off. Like, where's your buddy live? It's kind of an anomaly to me how lazy he is, but how he'll go to the gym every day at 5 a.m. He's got this schedule down, but is also one of the laziest people I've ever met. And the story that I wanted to share is he was an adult man when this happened. He was probably in college, and I came back to Champaign, and I go in the basement, and he's down there just beached on the couch watching something, and it smelled horrible down there. And he confided to me later that he had to go to the bathroom but didn't want to get up, so he peed in a garbage can. And as a 20-year-old man, he peed in the garbage can down there, and then just forgot about it for like 3 days. And the basement smelled so bad, yeah, because he didn't want to walk upstairs to go to the bathroom. The 10 stairs that he had to get up were too much for him. So I'm a little worried about Hannah in that way. That he's worthless for 90% of the day. Yeah.
Recollection of.
I only went to visit Dylan Bones once at ISU, but the first night that I moved into my dorm, Dylan and Anthony came over and we went out and we acted like we were Illinois football players. Dylan was Tommy O'Malley from Sheboygan, Wisconsin, acting as the quarterback, and I was acting as a center, and we were just telling everyone at the bar. I mean, it was so stupid, but it was a lot of fun. Just
I got a good one. So this was high school, and he was dating Mary Beth, and it was like 3 degrees out. Snow was blowing. The roads were snow covered, and he announced, he goes, this is after dinner, he goes, I'm going over to Mary Beth's. No, you're not going anywhere. We're in a blizzard, idiot. You're not going anywhere. Sit back down here. He goes, all right. And about 15 minutes later, the doorbell rings, and in comes Mary Beth, and she's got like these little white tennis shoes on. And
he made her come over here because we wouldn't let him go out in a blizzard. I'm like, what?
She was not dressed for the elements.
No, those girls never do dress for the elements.
They didn't have cable TV till we were like 12. That's why he was around all the time, probably. And he let our turtle go.
Oh, they killed our turtle.
That is a fact.
He also stole our video game.
Yeah, he also lost Mario Golf. But he took Mario. I think Sean Grady might have been a part of that, but the turtle was.
Sold it somewhere.
Sean was one of the best babysitters ever had.
That's true.
The Pop Shop.
Pop Shop.
I cannot believe they let Sean.
I funded Dylan's childhood fun.
Yep. So Dylan used to make you go pay for things?
Yes.
Let's expand on that.
I mean, whenever they had a great idea of doing something in the backyard and we needed supplies, they would pick me up and we'd drive to Walmart and I would buy it. And it probably lasts for a day and then we never used it again.
Tap it into those funds.
Yeah, I had a lot of money as a child.
Funds.
I don't know about a favorite, but he definitely had a least favorite, and that was anything that required a belt or went below his knees. So he was in gym shorts at all times. He probably didn't wear jeans until Hannah made him wear jeans, honestly. So kudos to her for that. Something my mom could never get done. I remember some blowout fights, waking up. I was probably maybe in 5th grade, and so Dylan must have been in like 2nd, and he had no clean sweatpants or something and only jeans left, so he just flat out could not go to school in that state. He's like, well, then I'm not going to school. Yeah, and I'm like, just wear the jeans this one time, and he wouldn't. He would not put them on. Yeah, I remember that. So he was using my dad's old jeans. Yeah, and obviously they didn't fit him, and like my mom would put patches in them, because they'd get ripped. But he still despised jeans so much he refused to buy his own pair, even knowing he had to wear them 5 days a week to work. He just couldn't give any money to the the denim jeans work company. He'd just rather wear these baggy Tom Grady old jeans.
I'm not sure because I know that before they started dating, he was home for the summer and he kind of seemed at loose ends. And I said, Dylan, are you going out with anybody? Because, he's not like one to tell me. I would have to like dig it out of him. I said, are you going out with anybody? He goes, no, but I'm working on something. I said, okay. And then...
He give you the name?
No, he just said, I'm working on something. And then a couple weeks later, or a week later or something, he said he was going to St. Louis with Hannah. They went down to a baseball game, which I thought was their first date, but apparently might have been their second date. I don't know.
I thought it took a step up when I found out that he spent the night at her house with her folks in the house. I was like, what? He goes, yeah. I go, where were you last night? I don't know if this is exactly verbatim how it went down. I go, like, what'd you do last night? Where were you? He goes, I was at Hannah's house. I go, what? And he goes, yeah, I spent the night at Hannah's house. I go, were her parents there? Yeah. I go, well, I thought it took a step. And I don't even remember what time frame that was, but I was surprised. Yeah.
I think maybe it might have been on his 21st birthday, which I'm not going to go into any kind of detail because his kids might see this someday. But yeah, when she stuck around after that, I was like, that she must really like him. He does seem a little more responsible, seems a little nicer, a little more in touch with his feminine side a little bit. What? Well, you know what I mean? Like, he never would think to go over to Grandma and Grandpa's unless I would remind him, and then he would love to go. I mean, if they would call him and ask him over, he'd go right away, but it wouldn't just enter his mind.
Yeah, that's.
He's gotten a little more thoughtful about things like that, I think.
I just think that assuming consideration as a feminine trait is completely wrong. It's the male species is well known for being considerate.
Well, Hannah has definitely been a good influence on him when it comes to being a little more thoughtful about other relationships, I think. Because he's kind of took things for granted, and now he works at it a little harder, I think.
Care of it?
Well, first they had that apartment together, and it was a tiny, small apartment. And I thought, if she doesn't kill him within the time they're in this apartment, then they are going to be together, because he's kind of a slob. And I thought, she's not going to be wanting his hockey gear laying in the front room, and that stuff.
Golf clubs.
But he picked up his game and made it work. So then they got the house, and Hannah just busted her butt on that house. I mean, she and her mom did all that painting, and she worked really hard and made it look really nice. So yeah, I think they have grown. I mean, he's mows the lawn now. I mean, he does stuff that.
Yeah, I hope he's doing some portion of his share.
It had to do with Davises were trying to fix him up, and I asked, I don't know.
Yeah, I think.
I asked him once something about it, if he had a new girlfriend. He says, I'm working on it.
I think the Davises live next door to Murray's or near.
They did it. They did a while ago. Yeah.
And they have a son named Matt who's a year younger than
Correct.
Dylan, and
they were good friends.
They were good friends, and so I think Jody Davis, that's his mother, tried to fix him up with Hannah. That's what I think, but I don't know that for sure. When they rented an apartment together, I don't think I got the impression before that, did you?
Yeah, because
she's more observant than I am.
They spent more time together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, on top of that, of course, her grandpa was Dylan's barber. I mean, he'd been going to Don Murray for a little while before that. She tells him what to do pretty much. And I think he does most of it anyway, but he still makes sure that he plays golf.
Yeah.
He borrowed my truck, about 2 or 3 weeks ago on a Saturday, and I thought, well, he'll show up around noon. Showed up about 9:30. I said, what the heck are you doing here so early? And he says, Hannah left me a long list of things to do.
He was going to the grocery store? Good grief. I guess he is changing a little bit then, isn't he?
We get him to come over, and he helps us a little bit around here. We're going to hook him next week probably.
He comes out. They come over and play racquet with us sometimes.
He stops by occasionally on his own without, if he's been to the gym, he'll come by here and visit for a while.
I think Dylan needs somebody that, he's so goofy, I think he needs somebody that like brings him down to earth to a certain extent. And I think Hannah as well, I think she's more a little bit quieter in nature and stuff like that. I think she needs somebody that really brings out her personality, which I think Dylan does well. So,
but when he met Hannah, it was in college, and there was a little bit. I was used to Dylan always because he didn't really have a girlfriend too much in college. So, and then junior year he started dating Hannah, and I went from always seeing Dylan to then he was going up to Bradley to see Hannah, and it took me a little bit because I was like, well, dude, come hang out with us. The boys are hanging out at college. What are you doing going to Bradley? And then I kind of slowly started figuring out that this might be a little bit more than just another girlfriend. So that's when I kind of knew that Hannah might have been something special to him, and kind of gone on since then.
Any changes in them?
I would say I definitely see more responsibility in Dylan. Like this last Saturday, he told me he was cleaning out his gutters, which is something that if you told 10-year-old Bones that Dylan would be cleaning out his gutters on a Saturday morning, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
So I think, which is good for him because he needs some of that responsibility to kick in, because I don't know if he would ever do
I think
clean the gutters if nobody told him to.
I think the biggest thing that I've seen, just like this, the largest difference from knowing him growing up till now is like he was always known as the guy to somehow sleep into like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 or whatever the hell it was, and now like he's changed so much. And I think that this started maybe summer of senior year of college or something like that, maybe after. He always gets up earlier now and is definitely more responsible and stuff
earlier,
like that.
by earlier you mean like 9 o'clock instead of 2 p.m.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's a really noticeable difference there as well. But
I'd want to live a mile away from Hog if I could too.
College, probably, I would say. Dylan was for sure in college. Was talking about a girl that he was dating. I probably didn't hear it from Dylan, actually. I'm sure my mom told me that Dylan had a girlfriend named Hannah who went to Bradley, which was strike one right off the bat. Yeah. And so that I probably heard it from my mom, at some point. Dylan, I was probably the last to hear from Dylan, about Hannah. Change, well, like I said, I think Hannah was the first one to make him like buy jeans and things like that. So Dylan is kind of a real content guy, what he's been doing forever. He's just down to do forever, So I think Hannah has done a better job than maybe anyone I've seen of getting him out of his comfort zone, Like I think he went probably 8 years without leaving Champaign County until she forced him to go to Florida to visit the grandparents. Changed his dress a little bit, forced him to do things like that, which I appreciate and is going to help him grow a lot. So,
Dill for sure, just athletic shorts and sweatpants. He started to wear jeans a little bit more, but he used to never be seen in a pair of jeans ever. But definitely sweatpants and shorts for Dylan.
In our friend group, I mean, most of the relationships do last. I mean, we have it, like me and Bones have been with one person forever.
Good lands. Well,
Well, we didn't know, we had heard of Dylan from like, you know, all of our mutual friends over the years, but didn't know him or his parents. And then...
I know Matt and Jan Jupe would always, you know, the Gradys. No, I don't
think so.
I don't know who you're talking about. But I think I met Dylan probably over at
was either
Jeff
Matt or
Davis's
Joe's.
or, you know,
Somebody's
all those-
graduation party.
Yeah, those boys, Matt and the Jupes, and you know, I know Anthony Martin was there playing ping pong and goofing around. So that's kind of when I'm first. So you're Dylan Grady, you know. But
I think you played ping
I had no
pong.
idea that Dylan was going to start coming around.
I think you played ping pong with him and Bones at the
Probably.
graduation party for quite a while. And
Probably.
you, like had fun with them. And then
Got my
Hannah
ass
told me
kicked.
she was going on a date with Dylan, but she did not want him to come to the door because she did not want Todd.
Well, I pulled up and he was in the driveway, and I'm like, Dylan,
He was told not to come inside.
what's going on? I said, come in the house. He goes, no, I better wait here. She's going to come out. And that's when I stopped and I went, well, which she? I've told that story before. I really didn't know. I mean, I didn't think it'd be Hayes, you know, because Hayes was still in high school. But hell, I didn't know if it's I really didn't know how old Dylan was, I don't think, you know. So,
yeah.
But anyways, that was the that was the beginning of the end.
It was funny because Hannah didn't want to go.
We can't shake him now.
Yeah. Oh, I really liked him. He was so nice. It's funny because Hannah can be quiet and so can Dylan, right? So I feel like, you know, I really liked him a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like they were well suited for each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, we didn't get to see a lot of like, when they were at school, they would see each other going back and forth between ISU and Bradley. So we didn't see as much of it develop except for when they were at home.
Mm-hmm.
And you could just tell that they both really liked each other. Yeah.
Yeah, what's not to like? He's a good dude. I don't know, he started coming around, going on trips with us. And,
Yeah.
you know,
That was a big deal when we...
You know, started letting boys vacation with us. I guess that's probably...
We did let him in the Christmas card this year.
He's in the Christmas card. You know, obviously, you know, buying a house and all that stuff, but I guess they were engaged before then.
I mean, I think
Or maybe
Hannah's
they
so
weren't.
practical about stuff too. Like, I think if she didn't see like a future, she would not stay with somebody that long. So it was obvious when they were going back and forth through college and that it was, you know, it seemed like it was going to last. And they
Yeah, you know, holidays.
Yeah.
He'd come around,
Mhm.
and she'd go over to Tom and Carrie's, so kind of figured it out.
Changing them?
I don't know. I mean, I tell everybody, Dylan makes Hannah a nicer person. I don't know. They're good together. I can't say enough good things about Dylan, to be honest with you.
It is, and yeah, it's been fun to watch them like just, like with the house, just trying to figure that all out and settling into like different roles and.
Yeah. Love the house.
Yeah, Dylan didn't have.
And I love
a
the fact
vision.
that I love the fact that it's a mile from my house too.
They may not love that.
So now I can go hang out.
Yeah, Dylan had a lot. I felt like ended up trusting Hannah because he could not see. It was just very dated. It looked like 80-year-olds lived there for sure. And he was like, I can't see it.
Well,
She could.
90-year-olds live there actually.
Oh, 90-year-olds live there, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hannah had lots of opinions about what they were going to do, but
Shows they're grown up.
yeah.
I went to that second game with him when he dressed a little nicer. It was like one of their, like, I don't know what date it was, but it was kind of funny because I went with them.
Well, I know one thing. My father would love Dylan because he was a avid Cub fan.
But I know Dylan from when he was, like, I would say 3 or 4 years old, come in, got his hair cut when he was just a blonde-headed little boy. This was when he was probably 3 or 4, and he wore it pretty short then, and then as the styles changed, why, he had to get with it. But, you know, since I'd kind of known Dylan on and off through his dad, and his grandfather.
Well, I do remember you told Todd, he says, well, he has to be a good guy. Ed's his grandfather. Because he used to cut Ed's hair, and he cuts Tom's hair.
I knew Ed for a long time. So.
And I think people always compare her to her sisters, and we laugh because even at the Bachelorette, she's like, my whole life, my whole family thought I was this cold-hearted person because I don't cry as much as them. And she's like, Dylan thinks I'm the most emotional person to ever walk the planet because he's never cries. So I think it's funny kind of seeing the contrast of her personality and how it plays out with Dylan versus her family. But she's just always been such a sweet, kind-hearted, and genuine person. For me, I feel like I never saw Hannah truly in love before Dylan. And I just think love changes a person. Like, I think she's become a little bit softer, a little bit more patient. Like I said, Hannah's always been Hannah, and like she's always going to be true to herself. So, I mean, her DNA hasn't changed, but I think her outlook on things and her demeanor has softened since meeting Dylan, and I think it's really sweet.
Especially in like since getting engaged and like the wedding coming up and everything, like just it's so cute and sweet to like hear every time she talks about Dylan, just like how sure she is about him and like how excited she is like for all the things that are coming after marriage and like their future together. And so that's just really cool to see, like just how genuinely happy she is and excited about life. So I'm just really happy for them.
I think it was the 4th of July kind of fireworks at the U of I. We went like with Lexi Wallen and Bones and Dylan to watch the fireworks, and that was like the first time that I was with Dylan and Hannah kind of at the same time. And then the first real funny story of all of us together, we were at the Krauses, and Hog wanted to play me, Bones, and Dylan in ping pong, and he stole a 30 rack of beer from TK's fridge, and Hannah drove us to our house to play ping pong, and she put up with us all night just playing ping pong, and she was driving us around town. Yeah, I think both of them have changed. I think they both make each other a lot happier. It's fun to hang out with both of them. I think because of them, I think we hang out as a group of guys and girls more often now. Just because, I mean, we've all become friends more with each other's significant others now, I think, because of them.
I feel like you could just kind of tell from the beginning they were really good together, and he was always around, and Hannah's not the type of person to like be dating just for the fun of it, so I knew that she was serious about Dylan pretty early on, I think.
They're pretty steady people. I just feel like if they changed at all, they kind of like changed together.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think like in the beginning, Dylan was obviously like kind of shy around us and like around our family, and that's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
I think too, Hannah, she can kind of like we said, be a little bossy to Dylan, and he used to just kind of like accept it and do, I think, what she said, and now he definitely like says stuff back. He's like, no.
Yeah.
But just in a funny way. Like, I think they're both more mature, and that probably is, they've probably done that together in their relationship.
Yeah. I just laughed when they bought that house, and it was so close. I said, you guys have to be family oriented. I mean, mom can walk to your house, his mom can walk to your house, grandma can walk to your house, and his aunt lives down the street.
Yeah, they'll
obvious.
both do very well.
Yeah.
Sharon and I look forward to seeing some little great grandkids down the road. We can't wait. I hope both of us are still here to see that. So.
Well, her mother and I have been friends since we were 4 years old. So we're the longest, probably, friendship that I can come up with, and have remained so. And Janet is Bailey's godmother, Bailey's my middle daughter that shares a birthday with Hannah. It was all kind of like the stars were aligned. Yeah, and I can remember the day she was born. We were having a birthday party for Bailey. Would that have been her 3rd birthday, maybe? But Sharon walked in and said, "It's a girl." I'm like, and it's Bailey's birthday. And they were both kind of quirky. And Tom walked in one time, I think, and apparently couldn't get over the fact that I was feeding her peanut butter on the heel of a bread. But she really liked it, and it was all we had. And well, I had the girls, they were in school, and so my job was to keep Hannah and Hadley. And so I was like, that was my excuse to stay home and play house when the girls were in school and I wanted to quit my job. Hannah's thighs were like that, maybe bigger. They were good. Because my girls, being just a little bit older, you know, had a little more stylish clothes, and Bailey wanted, or had, Hannah wanted belly shirts like Bailey. So we'd dress her up like she wanted in little plastic high heels.
There's also another field over on the other side of Robeson. And so we spent many hours out here playing kickball and had some very enjoyable times. Thank goodness I had Dylan on the team, because he caught everything that was kicked to him and kicked everything that the ball was pitched to him. So we had some great times back then, and would like to possibly maybe even do a reunion game if eventually we can get some of the old classmates together.
So what was Dylan like as a student?
A very hard worker, very consistent, here every day, tried his best on every single subject. The highlights of Dylan for me, though, was his athletic ability and watching him become the athlete he did become. I used to see his dad, though, spend many hours over at this baseball field practicing with him and pitching the ball to Dylan over and over again. So he spent a great deal of time practicing, too. So he might have been naturally gifted, but he also put the work into it as well.
How do you feel about Dylan becoming a teacher?
I love the idea. He reached out to me beginning of last year and wanted to know if he could possibly be my student teacher. And just the idea of having one of my ex-students come back and want to work under my tutelage for a semester, I thought it was fantastic. The kids were naturally, he was like a magnet, and they were naturally just attracted to him. And I could even see, I just took a step back and just more or less let him kind of take over the classroom. And he did a fantastic job. The kids just naturally love him, and they're all just, they're, like I said, it's more like a magnet. They're all just attracted to him. And he has this natural, uncanny ability to reach out and touch every single child in the classroom.
I don't see Hannah as being very nervous.
Not too nervous, and I don't.
She's got things well in hand.
I don't think Dylan will be too nervous either.
Oh, she has like lots of Google
I'm gonna stay out of the
spreadsheets
way.
with tabs. She's ultra organized. She acts like that's really normal and that everyone does that, but she is very
She'll be
organized and
fine.
on top of it.
She'll be fine.
So everything will be well
Get out of
planned
her,
out.
Just get out of her way and let her take care of business. She'll
Yeah.
be. I'm more worried about me than
I think they got in trouble, Todd and Dylan, the other night because we were trying to work on wedding things, but they were drinking and being really loud and just going through the song list.
Yeah, we were trying to come up with the song list
At full blast. It was.
Yeah. Well, you've got to get the
I
full
think-
effect of the band.
I think
mean,
Hannah did say, "You have done no work for the wedding." He's like, "We're working right now."
Yeah, what are we doing right now?
I think she'll be calm.
Yeah, definitely. She's already
got everything
got
so
it.
organized.
There's not a ton of loose ends, I don't think. I don't know for sure, but yeah, I saw her last night. She's on top of it. She's not nervous worried.
Will Dylan have any decisions to make the week of? Will he be allowed to make any decisions the week of?
I don't think so. First of all, I think everything's already decided. Hannah is very organized. She's really good at getting stuff done. So I think he's kind of sat back, and I think if she asks for help, he'll help her, but he's happy to let her make all the decisions, and she's good at it.
Yeah,
I think it's going to go very smoothly.
Yeah. And I don't think either one of them will be too upset if,
something would go wrong.
Yeah, there would be a wrench in it or something like that. I don't think either one was going to care too much. They did their best, and I think they'll be fine.
She's kind of bossy. Yeah. She thinks that we're bossy, but she definitely can be the boss, and she wants to be in charge, and she wants it to be her way.
I agree.
Okay. Which can be a good trait.
Yeah.
Okay.
For wedding planning, that came in handy because she knew exactly what she wanted, and she did everything really quick.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she's really that stressed.
I don't think so either. She's been so on top of everything that, I don't know, she just has everything done, everything's in line. I can see her being a little stressed, but we just went on a walk the other day, and she was saying how she just wants to be in the moment and not stressed, and how she'll just be so relieved once we're actually there doing it, and once it's done.
Yeah, she said the other day she's like getting a little nervous, just like to be the center of attention and to have the whole day about her and Dylan. But planning wise, I don't think she's stressed because she had like everything planned in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The big stuff. So I think that's kind of helped her.
Mm-hmm. I think his only responsibility is to not get too drunk before the wedding.
Yeah, mainly not to make sure that his friends don't get too drunk before the wedding.
Yeah.
I think, because Hadley and Hayes joke that she's become a bridezilla, but she's not. I wouldn't say she's a bridezilla. She's just so on top of everything. Like Lexi and I would look at each other and laugh at the Bachelorette. Someone would be like, so when do you plan the honeymoon? She'd be like, we did it pretty early. That's her answer to everything, because she was so on top of it. And I said to Lexi, I'm like, I never remembered her being like so type A and so organized. Lexi's like, Grace, she's the kind of girl that would come home from high school and do her homework immediately. She's like, she's always been like this.
Madison, Lee, and my sister are both getting married later this summer. And I think like every time, especially I notice with my sister, like Hannah will bring up something like, so Erica, like, have you thought about who's going to do this or how this is going to go? And Erica's like, no. And Madison's like, yeah, no. And it's so funny, but I think it's not even that she's like stressed about these things. Like I think she's just so excited for the day of that she like can't help herself but to like think about every single detail, and it's awesome just to see how excited she is. But I feel like on the actual day of, I think that I can't see her being like a bridezilla or anything like that. I think she's just gonna be, I'm sure she'll be like a little nervous, but I think just altogether she's just gonna be like smiling ear to ear. I think
I see a lot of tears.
A lot of tears, definitely.
In the future. Yeah.
A lot of tears from everybody, probably. Some more than others.
One in particular.
Hog.
Yeah.
But no, I think it'll be a great time. I'm sure everybody's going to have a blast. It'll be good to see everybody that we don't usually get to see very often. But two sides definitely coming together. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, like he said, two great families coming together. It's going to be fun.
Do you guys know who Hannah's first kiss was?
I believe it was Braxton, wasn't it? No.
Dylan's first kiss. I mean, I don't know. I would have guessed Trent Kunis or I don't know, or his first girlfriend. I don't know. I have no idea. Hannah's first kiss was Trent Kunis. Yeah. Both. I think they share that. That'd be my guess. Yeah.
Hog. That's weird.
Bingo. That's it.
The first kiss? I don't know. If it's funny, let me think about someone who would be funny. Trent, maybe?
Oh, that'd be bad.
Sam, what do you
That'd be a
think?
horrible first kiss.
I heard other people. I think it is.
No, it's Storm, maybe.
Oh, I hope it's Bones. That'd be awesome.
But I also just remember one summer we went to Catholic Heart Work Camp together for service hours, and the night before she's gonna kill me for saying this. She had her first kiss with Trent. And she's telling me the story, and like she was cringing so hard even the next day. And just the details of the story, I remember like crying, laughing. And like I said, I remember very little. I like remember every detail of the story because it was so hilarious the way that she told it back. Like she's always been easy like at making fun of herself. And I think that's probably one of the more embarrassing things I could mention was her first kiss with Trent at some park.
I don't know his first kiss, who his first kiss was, but I knew who one of his kisses were. And I believe one of them had to be the bride-to-be.
That was her first kiss.
That was hers?
Yes.
So now we know who hers was. I don't know.
I didn't know that.
Was that yours?
No.
Can you walk us through that situation a little bit?
Which situation?
If you could.
The kiss one? Dude, it was so long ago. I didn't know that was her first kiss. Dang. Wow.
I learned a lot.
Good for me.
He's,
mentioned Jeff Davis because my dad tries taking credit for setting them up too, and I'm like, Dad, you had no part of it. Like you supported it after the fact of me telling you what me and Trent did, but you had no part in them getting together. So I just remember that Dylan was interested in Hannah, and me and Trent, we were like out at Cam's. It was a summer during college. I want to say like maybe summer going into sophomore or junior year. And Dylan like wanted to talk to Hannah, but they're both so shy. So me and Trent literally like pushed them together and like forced them to start talking. And I could see that they were hitting it off. And then I think a few days later, Dylan asked Hannah on a date, and she did not want to go, like at all. And we all had to basically force her to go. And she tells the story and saying that like the moment she got in the car and before they even got off her street, she was like, why was I so nervous? He's so nice. And she says when she got home, she knew she was going to marry him.
So I remember right before their first date, I don't know if anyone said this before, I'm sure they have, but she was like, oh wait, I don't even know if I should say this. Does Dylan know that she didn't want to go on the first date?
Yeah.
I said that.
Well, I don't know if Dylan knows, but I've heard it about 4 times, so it's okay.
Okay. Well, he'll find out eventually. I'm sure he does know. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Anywho, it was tough to convince her to go on the first date. She was really skeptical, just like, I don't really know if I'm going to like him. Like, I don't want to go on the date. So finally, I'm sure it was Grace. I know that you and Trent take ownership of the start of the relationship, but somehow we got her to go on this date. And we were expecting, as sweet as she is, she does get annoyed pretty easily. I mean,
that's what we all have in common. Yeah. We're irritated by everything.
We get a little irritated easily. And so I feel like we were all kind of expecting her to come back with a date story that he did this and this or whatever. But I feel like from the first time, like we heard about the first date, she had nothing but good things to say about Dylan and how she was like so surprised at how great their conversation was, how nice he was, and just like how, comfortable she felt and how natural it felt. So I feel like right off the bat, like from the first date, like she had nothing but good things to say about Dylan.
One thing led to another, and to be honest with you, I didn't expect anything to work out maybe besides like a date or two, but I did have to I think Grace had to push Hannah towards it, and I definitely had to push Dylan towards it a little bit. I think Hannah was more resistant to the idea than Dylan was resistant, but it ended up working out, and I think that they're a really great pair for each other.
I was obviously not there, but I do remember Dylan after he did not meet Hannah for the first time, but the first time he took her out on a date. Actually, we can wind it back about 2 days. We were at the Davis residence, and we were having a couple of beverages there, and all of a sudden a guy walks in that me and Dylan didn't really know too well. And Jeff Davis introduced us as Hog Murray. So we got to know him pretty well that night. I think we stayed up with him till about 2 or 2:30 in the morning. And how the night ended was he proclaimed that he had a meeting the next day at 7 a.m. that he had to get to. And it was about 2:30 in the morning. And he said, I can't drive home. So we ended up having to drive Hog home. He got out of his car and he was stumbling. So not only did we have to drive him home, we had to walk him into the house. And then fast forward about 2 days later, or 3 days later, I see Dylan the next time. He goes, yeah, I took Hannah Murray out for a date. And I drive up to the driveway and I see Hog outside. He comes into the door and goes, hey, Dill, what are you doing here? Dylan goes, I'm here to take out your daughter. And Hog goes, which one? So that was the first time I ever heard of Dylan and Hannah getting together, but I knew Hog was a good guy for sure. Definitely.
Was him and all them boys just beating the hell out of me on the ping pong table.
Yeah, but he came home all excited. Like, those are great guys.
Yeah.
They had so much fun. Those are really great kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the funny thing on the date is that Hannah didn't really want to go. And it wasn't that she didn't want to go with Dylan, because I was like, what the heck? He's like a nice guy. Like, we met him and she's like, no, it's not that. I hate first dates. I'm like, well, you know you have to have a first date in order to have like another date in a relationship kind of thing. But I think they went to Meadowbrook Park and then went for ice cream or something like that. And she came home and it was like great. She had a really good time. So
I feel like you probably heard first.
I think that, like, I don't know how long before their first date, she said something about Grace, or I think it was Grace trying to, like, set them up. And Dylan said, well, Hannah thought Dylan said, yeah, sure, I'll go on a date with Hannah or Lexi, whoever says yes. And so I know Hannah told me that, and she's like, I'm not going to go on a date with him. And then I remember like helping her get ready for their first date, and that was kind of the first time we talked about Dylan really. And she wasn't that excited to go. I have a picture, and I'll have to get that I took of her before the date, and she looks not very happy. But we were just talking, and she said like as soon as she got in the car and like before they even got out of our neighborhood, she was like, okay, I don't know why I didn't want to go on this date. He's cool. So
I feel like I was last to know that she went on a date. But I just heard, that she wasn't too thrilled to do it and then had fun.
She was like kind of picky, I think. Yeah. After her high school boyfriend, she didn't really date too much or like go on many dates. I think she was kind of stubborn in that way too. She just like didn't want to go on any. I don't know.
Even when her and Dylan met, she wasn't too interested on going on a date. But then she did, and it worked out. But
yeah, they went to Custard Cup, and then they went on a walk at Meadowbrook, and I think that was it.
Very wholesome.
Yeah, and they like continued going to Meadowbrook. That was kind of like their thing. They would go to walk around there.
I found Meadowbrook Park.
Yes, Hannah, I think, thought that Dylan was gonna propose there, because of the like sentimental meaning behind it, but he didn't.
For me, it was probably when I was at school. I didn't really know about them dating at the beginning, but when I heard about it, I was like, pretty good couple. Both great families. Obviously, worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I would say, I think the first time I found out was Instagram. I saw an Instagram picture of them together, and that's my first memory. Yeah.
I would say that you just have to be like forgiving, and marriage isn't always easy. And
Oh man, the day after the wedding, you're
Not
ready
the
to
day
get
after the wedding.
you're ready to get on your
they're gonna be ready to go on their honeymoon.
Yeah.
But
looking out, yeah. I think like you have to have a very forgiving heart, and you know, Lord knows I've had to learn how to forgive Todd a lot.
You're talking about. See that halo over my head? Oh, they'll be. You know what?
They just need to be a united team. They're a
That's
good
right.
team as it is now, and they just.
Yeah, they're going to be just fine.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really happy. So.
I guess don't take. I don't know what would I say about. Don't take things too serious, but also, you know, there's some stuff that no, I'm not going to cry. I'm done crying, Hannah. I'm not crying anymore. You know, there's times when you've got to sit down as an adult and make some adult decisions, but man, keep humor a part of your. That's what I say. That's what I've tried to do.
It's
Sometimes successful, other times annoying.
Agreed.
Try to get along with each other. I don't know.
You guys have been married for how many years now?
62.
He remembers. Give and take. Mostly give.
How are you taking a picture of this?
You don't even, well, you know you can give, and the other person doesn't even know you're giving sometimes. And that's the way it should be.
We get along pretty much, and that's important.
Do a lot of listening. And I'm sure they'll be fine.
I always said that in my life, divorce wasn't an option. So you work through everything. You know, there were times when we could hardly stand each other. But you work through it, you know. And then when you come out on the other side, it's better than it was before. So I think they come from those backgrounds too, where, you know, being together for a long time is in a family tradition.
Kind of a long-term relationship.
Yes.
For the long haul.
I don't know.
You got to work at it every day. I mean, a relationship is, you know, it's work. It's well worth it, but it's work. You just got to put in the effort to get the reward.
Can't take anything for granted.
Yeah, they're going to do great.
But you have to have your own space too. You know, like don't give up the rest of your friends or the rest of your life for just this couple. You know, that needs to be your primary relationship, but I think keeping your own space is really important too.
Do I show it?
Yeah.
And she would say it, Joe. No, how would she say it?
It was not like that.
I don't know.
It was like a certain way that
About
Grace
her
would
love,
say
Joe
it too.
Bertrand.
Joel.
She said that a lot.
Show.
Oh, I forgot one of those. Good.
All right, go ahead and show.
I'm hungry.
How many chips? All my chips are left. I got it.
Do we have to explain them?
Huh?
Do we have to explain it?
We're trying to cancel everything so
Yeah.
we can try to cancel all our baseball
They-
games.
yeah.
At the end, we didn't really want to play that much.
They used to call me when I was in middle school because they got out early and ask me where I was. And I would tell them I'm in class, and they would tell me to bang it so we could go play wiffle ball. And I would tell them I can't because I can't drive.
Oh yeah, and then this one is.
Oh, I erased it.
Dill would always come over, and if it was like me or Luke there, or anybody there, he'd just be like, Where's Cap? Just try and call him. And be like,
He called me last
yeah.
night.
Yeah, I think he did that last night.
Mine was do your check, as they always reminded me to check my blood sugar, even when I didn't have to. Him and Bones would always look out for me, make sure I was doing all right.
What is that? What is that? I've never heard that.
I would be downstairs in middle school with a female and watching a movie, and Bones and Dylan would come downstairs and turn the lights on and ask where my hands are and tell me to show my hands. Hands check, and make sure nothing was going on down there.
Turn it around when you have it. All right, very good. All right, we'll go to the.
All right, well, this is going to be my guess. Because I haven't been in a car with her driving either.
Traditional male role.
Ooh, very good. Dylan and Hannah. All right.
Dill, I'm going with you. Men are better drivers,
No.
period.
You can just tell we're kind of sexist.
Just anything with Ham associated with the car is drama because she gets car sick. So I don't.
Interesting. Haven't heard that one yet. Very good.
Oh, it's bad.
Automatic trigger every time we're in the car. Just give it 30 minutes and she'll say, "Oh, my head just.
I just want to be there.
Get out of this car."
Yeah, I got to get out of this car. I just want to be there. And then she'll start doing these little burps. And I'm like, Ham, stop burping.
That's
a recent thing, though. She has some burping problem
She was
recently.
doing it after the half marathon. We're walking back to the car and she thought she was going to throw up and she kept doing these little burps. I'm like, stop it.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
I guess that depends on if they're trying to get somewhere fast or safe. I'm going to go Dylan.
I guess I'll say Hannah, because Dylan's car is just absolute. It just can't. It shouldn't be on the roads. So out of default, I'm gonna take the technology and go with Hannah's car over Dylan's car.
I'm a ride or die.
Because that car is just.
More like only cook.
Yeah, I don't think this one's too hard.
Hammer.
She didn't really like to cook before Dylan. Now all of a sudden she.
Well, he likes to eat, so.
Oh, well, you can see we don't agree on anything.
Hannah on this one, yeah. I don't think Dylan. I can't see Dylan really doing too much in the kitchen, but I've heard he's good on the grill, so I'll give him that. But
Does Dill even cook? I don't think Dill cooks, so I'm going with Hannah.
Going with Hannah.
Is that how you spell it? Nice.
You just gotta make sure, you know.
Yeah, I think there's only one answer here.
And this is again knowing 0% about Hannah's cooking ability.
That's an easy one.
I hope I know how to spell Hannah. Is that right?
Yep.
These are tough questions.
I don't think
There's
Dylan's
no
ever
way
cooked.
Dylan can cook.
He would just eat Nutter Butters.
Has to be. It can't be any other way.
Yeah.
Is that how you spell Hannah? Is that H
The
at
thing is,
the
I've
end?
never seen him actually make a meal. Maybe like a sandwich.
That's easy.
I say combo. I think they'll find a split of the duties. Be my recommendation. You gotta have a checks and balance system right there.
Yeah, I don't know. Hannah's just so much more organized than Dylan.
True.
Who'd you say?
Hannah. After watching her with the wedding, I don't know. She's
True.
very.
She is organized.
Yeah.
I tried to explain escrows and mortgage and PMI to Hannah the other day. I'm putting it on Dylan.
Oh, I said ham. I think she'll be
She'll
the one.
figure it out. She'll
I
know
think
now.
she'll be the one that like the day-to-day expenses and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But I can see the two of them like as a team.
I would say Hannah.
I don't know, Grace.
That's tricky because Ham is so organized, but I feel like Dylan has like a business degree. Like I feel like he's just that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Seems a lot more organized than
Yeah. I guess we'll pay for that.
Yeah, we'll hear about it. Sure ain't Dylan. He doesn't do his own finances.
I think my dad will do them. I don't think either of them are going to. I think my dad will come in and do them for him.
Yeah, these are just not good questions for Dylan. It's hard to vote
Do
for.
you think he's going to actually have any type of work?
I think that's how you spell her name.
That's an easy one. That's the easiest one that I get.
Very good.
I was gonna say 1 to 2.
All right.
Well, so married in July, child in next summer. I do know that. Well, I don't know.
That's my guess.
Next summer. Yep. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Hey.
All right.
I'll be surprised if it's 1.
What did you put?
Less than 1 year.
No way.
Mm-hmm. Dylan's got baby fever.
Are you
From
kidding?
what these are per source.
For a confidential source?
Per source. I don't give away my sources.
I don't know. Not long. 1 to 2, I think. Yeah.
Ooh.
I don't know if this is a short.
Till the first child is born.
Yes.
Oh. It takes 8 months.
Yeah, I put 11 months. You think Hannah's waiting any more months?
That'd be like
Are you kidding me? She had to get her wedding in before the Martin's wedding. Yeah.
1.3
At least 11 months.
1.3.
years.
Dylan's sterile.
I think they'll just make up a whole new name.
Clyde.
Hold on, you turn it down. I can't see it out there.
What should it be?
Yeah.
Do you know any of their options?
Yeah.
You do?
Well, I'm not going to write that. What should it be?
That's cute name.
Grace
Grayson.
and Grady.
Grace and Grady.
So what was the name that Dylan was talking about?
Huh?
What? Why?
I was going to spell his last name wrong.
Good Lord, we got
Todd Thomas. I don't know.
I can't remember what they were.
How about this?
Oh yeah, it's a good name.
Yeah, okay, hold it. There you go. Murray. Murray Grady.
Murray Grady. Well, how about Murray?
Now we're getting deep. That's
Murray. Well, because I asked Thomas one time, I said, Tom, how do you feel about your son changing his last name when him and Hannah get married? He said he didn't have a problem with it.
Name, gosh, I don't know. Who? Murray. Oh.
Our son lives in South Carolina, has
I
a
don't
friend,
know.
and they named their little boy Murray. And then we have a niece who named her little boy Murray.
I'll just go the other way.
Oh, you can't name him Grady. Crazy.
Name. Oh, she said that Dylan, he had a grandpa whose nickname was.
Oh my gosh.
And
Yes,
Dylan wants to name their child Buddy, or like have his middle name be Buddy. And she was like, respectfully, no. And she was like she was like telling his cousins about this. And she was like, yeah, like you guys called him Buddy. And they're like, no, we didn't. Like, I think it was just a Dylan and Sean thing.
Yeah.
Be that. It's gotta be that. It's gotta be that. We knew it.
He hates the name Brody.
all right.
Sean. Yeah.
After the first kiss.
All right, ready?
Wheels.
What about what's it? UT.
Grady, what's up?
There we go. All right, Louise and Carrie.
Keep them short. Easier to
You
spell.
wanted to name Dylan Al.
Right.
I had to put the kibosh on that.
Not Alan. Just
Wanted to
Al.
put Al. It's like it'll be so easy for him to write his
Right.
name.
I don't know why I put this.
That will be.
I'm not good on these. The kids just don't. I don't know what they like. Doing that again. I don't know.
No.
Do you have one? I have nothing.
You know what? I don't know what. I've never heard any of the girls ever mention.
They were talking about it, but now I can't remember like any of them. All I know is that they told me I have an old lady name.
So it won't be Janet.
It's not gonna be Janet.
Dylan, huh?
We have a new great niece named Dylan. And our brother's name's Hayes. So I kind of
Trouble for this, but I know that she has said that they both like the name, I think, Carmen.
Oh, that's cute because they're getting married at Carmen.
I know, I was thinking that.
What?
They Bickers.
Bickers. They're definitely not naming her that because I feel like Hadley always had trauma growing up. Like, my middle name is Bickers.
What'd you say? Harmony. Oh God.
What? No, that's a girl.
You think Pat is a guy? Is a girl?
Pat can be a guy or girl.
All right.
That's what's funny about it. Do like Leslie or something.
What's a unisex name?
Leslie.
Let's go with Shiloh.
I just think anything with an H. That's what I'm going with.
Just to add another one to the mix.
Ham Grady. Ham.
That one's a good one.
Rebecca.
The Grady cheating effect. I see where Dylan got it from.
Professional.
Yes, he's a professional.
No way.
Absolutely not. Well, if he eats a lot of pizza.
Is he furnishing the beer?
Okay, I've got one for this.
Well, better.
Hold on, give me a moment here.
Oh, you're being mean.
Well,
You're being mean, honey.
I'm not sure he'll get down the aisle on his own power.
And that's not because of the beverages more than the
No,
emotions?
I'd say it's
Going down
definitely.
the aisle will be the emotions.
I would say it'll be emotion. He's very emotional.
Oh my. He's like my dad that way.
I was going to say, so where did he get the emotions? And I can close that in a minute. Where would he get the emotions from in your family?
My dad.
I would say, yeah, Ross, Sharon's dad.
I mean, my dad lived to be 92, and if he talked about his mother, he cried. And I never knew her. She died when my sister was 6 months old. He was very emotional.
Absolutely not.
No. Nope, he's gonna need some help.
Dude, I'm so bad at spelling.
Barley.
How do you spell barely? Jesus Christ. Autocorrect.
Private school education.
Yeah, exactly.
Reception.
Yeah, I definitely think yes. I've heard the rumors and I haven't seen him yet. I haven't seen the Beast. Yeah, he tapped. You know what? He tapped out. We did a party at Silver Creek, and he was first in bed. I think didn't even go out to the bar after. Went home. His daughters went out. His wife went out. Yeah. And I'll tell you what. Yeah, I've heard the stories. I've heard the talk, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm unsold on it. I think Hadley's the drunkest Murray I've seen so far. So. She's my vote for needing assistance out of the reception.
No chance.
Well, wheel barrel? BARRELL?
No is minus 200.
I believe
Yes
in
is
Hog.
plus 180.
Wow.
No chance.
All right.
Hog got it.
It depends what you define walking. Because walking.
I've got some funny stories
does
about
he have to have
Hog.
a good gait?
Hog walks a lot. He's walking every day.
He's gonna be stumbling.
Stumbling, mumbling, bubbling.